official, his resignation read before Congress. Swalwell forced to step down amid multiple allegations of sexual misconduct. The scandal already forcing him to drop out of the California governor's race. And tonight here, a new accuser coming forward in an emotional news conference. What she claims he did.
Another woman has come forward to allege sexual assault by Congressman Eric Swalwell. At a press conference Tuesday, Alana Drews claimed the congressman drugged and raped her after offering to help with her career in 2018.
He raped me, and he choked me, and I lost consciousness. And I thought I died.
Swalwell officially resigned his congressional...
A deal was 1 or 2 days away. The Strait of Hormuz is wide open. Iran has agreed to almost everything, including, the president said, in a conversation with my colleague Weijia Jiang, a joint U.S.-Iranian effort to remove all highly enriched uranium from the country. This handing over of the keys to Iran's nuclear kingdom would come, Trump told Weijia, without the U.S. handing over even $1, not even, in Trump's words, 10 cents. About all of this from the president, Iran has said next to nothing.
Whoa, camera's frozen. I know you can hear me. Hang on a second. I don't know why it's been doing that lately. Let me unplug it. Let me see what happens here. Let's see if we switch it up. Hang on. Be patient. Welcome back to Resistance Checks. There is someone here. This is like a magic trick. I'm here, but you can't see me. You can hear me, but you can't see me. Okay, we're going to do this. Well, there I am. And then I'm going to come back. Hang on, let me switch it one more time to the proper one. And please start, please start, please start. Come on, dude. I know you can do it. Let me unplug it. Hang on. Hang on. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Well, look at here. Hang on. There I am. Oh, hallelujah. Look at that. Praise Jesus. Are you ready for some church? Okay. All right. So here we are. Welcome back. Sorry about that for the podcast listeners. They're like, what's going on? We don't even watch your show. We just listen. Okay. I think we're here, right? Are we all gathered around together? All right. So, let's just play stupid games, get stupid prizes. Play stupid games, get stupid prizes. I'm not talking about the Strait of Hormuz. We'll get to that in a second. Eric Swalwell. Now, there's always been something about this guy. Next level creepy. He became famous because he tooted once. Like no one's ever done that before, but it just so happened to be caught on camera. And so, you know, that's like the worst. You should never make fun of somebody for that, because if you are alive and you have never broken wind, you're probably an alien. Okay, so ain't nobody get to call anybody out on breaking wind. Like, you don't get to do that. I don't even care. But there's something like next level creepy about this guy. You just like get the bad vibes, okay? He has been accused. 5 women have accused this dude. So he resigned. Now, am I the only one that feels like a resignation is an admission to guilt? Like, it just feels that way. Now, they were threatened. They say they, because I'm going to get to Gonzalez in a second. Threatened with expulsion. Now there's even more congressmen and congresspeople, whatever you want to call them, it tied up in this whole shenanigans thing. Here's the thing. Here's the problem I have. Do you ever get the feeling that when this kind of stuff happens to people in Congress, that everybody else is sitting there going like, Glad they didn't get my stuff. You know what I mean? Like, glad that my closet of skeletons and dead bodies and bribes and fraud and rape and sexual assault and harassment and child sacrifice and all the things. I'm glad that mine didn't spill out. And they're just kind of like sitting there, like head down, like, don't say anything. Don't, it's that's how I feel about this whole thing. I actually don't like the phrase play stupid games, get stupid prizes, but every once in a while, the broken clock is right twice a day. And that phrase fits. The standard. No, I'm not even gonna go there. Here's the thing I think most of us feel. I'm not gonna lie. I am gonna bring this around here every once in a while, especially if Leah's not here to rein me in. Maybe I reveal a bit too much, and Leah hates that. She's not even. I don't know when she's gonna get here. It might be the Michelle show the whole day. You'll love it. Every once in a while, I look at the way that parents treat their children, and because I don't have any children, and I would love to have children, there is a small part of me that I repent for that goes, I don't think you know how good you have it, right? Or, whatever. Like, you don't know how good you have it. You don't know the blessing that child is for someone like me that would just love to have children. Now I'm going to translate that. That's the part that Leah would be like, Michelle, why do you guys say that stuff? Because we're real, and it's the most professional, real show on the internet. Telling it to you every time. These people are in Congress, right? They are in Congress. Like, one of the highest, most revered positions, federal Congress, in our entire country. And I feel like most of us sitting here would be like, man, if I was a congressman or woman, like, there's so much I would be able to do. And like, you feel like it would be like, it would bring out the very best of who you are, the very, deepest of patriot, like your inner, like all of a sudden your name would become, the name of a founding father, like you just feel this, like if I had your position, the last thing I would be doing is raping and strangling women. Like, if I had your position, the last thing that I would be thinking of is how can I make a bunch of money doing this? I think that most of us, I'm going to, like, I really think I speak for most of you here in the chat. You are in the same boat as me. Like, if I had their position, not that, I don't think that we're all so naive to think that, like, we would be able to accomplish everything that we set out to do. But I really do think that most of us are like, man, if I was in there, I would be able to showcase like my inner founding father, the goodness, the purity, the holiness, the righteousness, the like, Trump ran on America first, not like line my pocket first. And that's what all of these Congress people are doing. The corruption is so deep. Now, I am going to say this though. I know I'm on a demon kick. And what I mean by that is everything's demonic at this point in my life. Like everything that's negative, I'm blaming it on a demon. Okay. However, before I got on this relatively recent kick, and I say this on the show all the time, so forgive the repeat. Ron Hood, who was in our Congress here in Ohio, came on our show when he was running for governor with Candace Keller. And he said that these seats are demonically held, and it doesn't matter who holds that seat. Unless you kick the demon and the ruler and the principality out of that seat, anybody that sits in it will be corrupted. And that is so true. So I really can't even blame these people because I think that when they get into these seats, the demons ravage them. And you look at like a Marjorie Taylor Greene and a Lauren Boebert, like these were just regular people and they had husbands when they started. They were just trying to do like the patriot thing. And then they went viral. And then they thought, well, because I went viral for standing up for good, I guess I could run for Congress. And they did, and they won. And then these demons ravage them, like literally. And I think that, like, are we not praying for these people enough? I don't know. But the demons in the halls of Congress, they're diabolical. They're the darkest. They're the grossest. They're just, ugh. So we're going to get into all of that. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I was reading your comments. Wicked Psych says not to criticize, but it has been negative energy lately. Are you saying our show has been? I think it's because we've had what we've had to cover. Because I think we've had actually some pretty lighthearted shows. As a matter of fact, what was the show the other day that I was like drunk on cold medicine? And the whole start of the show was like super hilarious. And I thought I really should turn that into a Chickmunks. But then I was too sick and tired to actually do that, even though I wanted to, because it was really funny. A little, well, I'm sorry, we'll try to lighten it. I mean, I don't know. How do I cover Eric Swalwell raping and strangling a woman lightheartedly? I mean, do you feel like there's negative energy with, like, I mean, Trump coming out and saying, not saying, posting a picture of him that if you covered the face, it legit looked like Jesus. Like, you cover that with light? I don't know. You cover that with light energy? Laura Lee in the chat says we need a huge congressional exorcism. That is, and I'm there for it. Like, I'm there. Oh, I don't even want to cover this. I don't want to do this. Okay, guys. Leah's not here, so you're getting the Michelle show, which hopefully is full of positive energy. Wicked Psyched. I don't know what you're getting. Honestly, I'm still, so I don't want any sympathy. Prayers would be helpful, but I have a giant headache right now. And all I wanted to do was sleep. And I said to Leah this afternoon, because we had kind of a demonic attack. And I said to Leah, we were upstairs praying, and I was kind of like, I'm just like out of it. And she's like, and I said, do you want to cancel the show? And she looks at me and she goes, why do you always do that? Why do you always say that? And I was like, no. I'm serious this time. Like, I was dead serious because I'm so tired and I have this headache. And like, guys, I'm not going to lie, coming on here to do all this stuff, to cover all of these like heavy, and they are heavy topics, Wicked Psych, like you're not wrong. And then to bring the energy and to, like, it is not easy. There are times, I'm not saying that I feel like I'm headed to public school, because that was like such a drag. I don't feel that at all. A lot of times I'm super excited for the show and I look forward to it and I'm giddy and I'm like, yay, I get to be with my friends. And I love you guys so much. But then there's other times where I'm just like, oh man, I just want to skip the show. Like, right? Today was definitely one of those days, but I'm here for it because I love y'all. And you know what she says to me? She goes, Michelle, there are thousands of people waiting. We can't let them down. And honestly, that is always the thing that brings me back. It's you guys. It's like, I always come back and I'm like, no, I'm going to show up. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to give it 100%, 110. All I got it. Okay. So anyway, how do I do this? So here's the deal. You guys always ask us, you're like, name names. Well, this is no secret. And I want to say this in the best way possible. I probably shouldn't even do this because I don't know all the details. And that's one of the reasons why I shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway. So it's no secret on the show. I have mentioned Pastor Todd Coconato, that we love him. Like, I love him. I trust him as a man of faith. I trust him as a pastor. I think he's a phenomenal voice in our country. And in this moment, love him. And I feel the same way about Amanda Grace. There's a but coming. So, and that has not changed. That opinion, full stop, remains the same for both of them. However, there was a meeting at the White House this week by the Office of Faith, and both Todd and Amanda and her husband were part of that group. Now, if I were to dig deep into who else went, they would probably be people that I know personally, like people whose numbers I have. And Todd came out of it and he was so excited and he took a selfie and he's like, man, the Office of the Faith is doing so much and I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. There's more to come. And there's a lot of people on like the side of truth. Hi, Leah. Welcome to my show. That I always want to lift up and encourage, and I don't ever want to say a negative word against them. And Todd and Amanda would be in those groups. However, and this is not a negative word against them, so that's why I'm trying to figure out how I say this. I really think that because of Trump's, we'll call it a faux pas. Does that work for you guys? Is that an accurate description of the tweet with him as a doctor? A doctor with light coming out of his hands in a robe that looked like Jesus. So after that, I think that the Office of Faith has reached out to the farther reaching pastors and voices in this moment to try to get them on Trump's side and to be a voice for him. When it comes to damage control, if I'm the White House and I don't have any morals, I'm 100% going to do the same thing. It was a brilliant move. And it would seem also effective. So pray. Because I don't know how many people would be able to resist a phone call from the asking for a visit to the White House, because this is what you're going to think. Even if I don't agree with everything, God's placed me in this position and I will be able to speak into some things. Paula White met with the creator of the religious cult of the Moonies. You guys remember them? The Moonies. She met with that leader, and so it begs the question, is it the office of all faiths, including Islam, Buddhism, Moonies, or is it the office of Christian faith? I don't think that it is the office of Christian faith. I think it's the office of all faiths, and that's disappointing.
Well, I think that's what he deemed it as. There was a Muslim on there, and
right.
You know.
So, but for Paula White to be able to step in and shake hands with the Moonie, that's a bit weird. You know what I'm saying?
It's weird.
So now that I have done my Michelle intro, and we had a camera issue when we started.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we had to get it fixed, but everybody was here for it. You guys are so super encouraging, although wicked psyched, and I appreciate feedback. We love feedback, honestly, especially if you say it nicely. Look how nice you look.
I just came from a farm and there's probably hay in my hair.
Hey, the feedback from Wicked Psych says that it's been a little bit negative energy lately. And this is what I said. I said, well, we're covering negative things. So like war and like 180 kids blown up.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Wicked Psychs. You're kind of right. My feed on my Twitter has not had I realized that, like, wait a minute, where's all that fun stuff that used to come in my feed? Like when I had all those commercial breaks.
You smell like horses.
Do I?
Like not the good kind.
Wow. Okay.
You smell like, you got shoes on in there?
Oh, it's probably my shoes.
Leah, are you bringing horse poopy into the studio?
No.
It doesn't smell like.
It's just horse.
You know what? That's not horse. Hey, you know what? When you go to the bathroom in the toilet and you drop some bombs in there, do people say that just smells like human?
No, we don't.
No, because it smells like the worst of
this
human.
This is how horses work. They don't actually. You don't actually ever step in horse poop. Okay, because they go in little piles and you scoop them. That's part of my job.
You smell like what comes out of the back of a horse, not a horse. Because horses don't smell like that.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm feeling it. I just did. Stop. Okay.
I'm putting my armor on for you.
Okay, so did you give them any updates on the Strait of Hormuz or anything?
No, we didn't get to the strait. We went to the cockeyed
Geez,
with
do you guys
Swalwell.
do you even care?
Like my little thing? Look at that. Isn't that cute?
So do you even care? Like, how much time should we spend on the Iran war that cost billions of dollars, took several U.S. servicemen's lives,
Yeah.
and has fractured MAGA, and Trump is declaring victory, and you know, I'm just wondering if we're there. Are we there yet, Trump? Are we there? Are we there? And then the victory lap over Swalwell, who is just a very slimy, vile
human
creature.
being.
So you know what? Let's start with the vile human creature.
Who smells like horse. And do you have all your tabs up? Okay, let me get them
I
up.
do.
The other thing that we haven't covered yet, and I don't mean this to be negative energy. I will say it happily. I'm bring out like wait. Let me get all my positive. Like, whoa! And Trump threw Riley Gaines under the bus this week too. Pata! Is that more happy energy of a negative subject? Because I don't even know how to cover the negative subjects with positive energy.
We will work on it.
Like, I don't know how to do that. So, you know, Riley, and I actually, out of all the famous people that have become famous, I like, she's real, like she breathes air.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not an alien.
Really loves Jesus, and
She very
she's
kindly said what she said about Trump's doctor post. And she was really nice about it. And then Trump comes up like, yeah,
not really care
not a
for
fan.
her, not a fan.
Not a fan. And so then she graciously comes back and she's like, I totally support the president. You know, and I was like, Riley, you are a bigger human being than I could ever be. Like 100%. I don't even know.
She's a faster swimmer.
She's fast. she's a bigger human being and a faster swimmer. For sure.
At our exclusive CBS
Okay,
News
let me
interview
screen
with
share, hang
two
on.
women who say Democratic Congressman Eric
wrong
Swalwell
screen.
sexually harassed
Hang
them.
on.
They told Nancy Cordes why they finally decided to go public. Swalwell denies allegations of sexual misconduct, but he did suspend his campaign for governor on Sunday and then announced he's going to resign from Congress. Nancy Cordes joins us now from Washington. Nancy, good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning to you, Nora. This is the first time that Swalwell's accusers have been willing to go on camera. And they told us it wasn't an easy decision, but that they've been shocked to discover how many women had stories about Swalwell that were apparently just like theirs.
Apparently.
I didn't tell anybody for years, out of fear.
What were you afraid of?
Well, at first I thought I was all alone.
Annika Albrecht was still in college when she says she got what she thought was a big break. California Congressman Eric Swalwell
disgusting.
offering to stay in touch after meeting with her student group in Washington, D.C.
He offered to mentor me.
Wow.
That was, as someone who knew virtually nothing about politics at the time, or no one, that was just
Okay,
an incredibly generous offer that I felt very lucky.
ladies, even Christian men, be careful about any man saying that they will mentor you.
No, you don't need no
doesn't-
mentor. You need a woman-mentor.
Yeah.
to have.
She says Swalwell created a group chat with all the students and then added her as a friend on the messaging app Snapchat.
And so I asked the other
Snapchat,
people that were in the meeting, did he add
Snapchat.
We don't have Snapchat.
Snapchat's probably your first clue.
them? And they said no.
Were they all men?
Yes. I was the only woman in the meeting.
She says Swalwell, who was then in his late 30s, started out talking politics, but his messages soon turned flirtatious.
Ultimately, it reached a point where he invited me to a hotel to meet him. It was very clear what the connotation was. At that point, I completely stopped responding. What I keep thinking back to is how lucky I am that I didn't go to that hotel.
Alisa Marco says she had a similar experience in 2021. She sent Swalwell a supportive message on Twitter, and to her surprise, he messaged right back.
I was so excited. I was a low-level staffer who had no real political background, and he was this established figure in Democratic politics.
They began to text, but she says he soon asked if she too was on Snapchat, where messages and photos automatically get deleted after they're viewed.
How did the tenor of his conversation change?
It started out as professional and platonic, and then slowly they became more and more explicit, asking me what I was wearing. Then one night he was on a trip and he was laying in his hotel room bed, and then he sent me a photo of his penis.
Oh, dear God.
Marco showed us text messages she sent to friends at the time about Swalwell's alleged advances. In one, she wrote, "He's snapping me right now, asking when he can see me." But beyond that, both women said little for years as they built careers as Democratic campaign strategists.
I was terrified that if I spoke out against him, then people would think that I was a loose cannon, that I couldn't be trusted, that maybe I'm making it up.
That was until Swalwell decided to run for governor of California.
I'm Eric Swalwell, and it's this simple.
And quickly moved to the top of the pack.
The idea that this man who has already abused his power would be given even more power and could potentially harm even more women made my whole body sick.
So, 2 weeks ago, Albrecht reached out to her good friend Cheyenne Hunt, a Democratic content creator, and asked her to post a video about the rumors that have dogged Swalwell for years.
The Democratic candidate currently leading in the California governor's race has a known history of being predatory towards women. I could never have guessed where it would lead us.
Where did it lead?
I was immediately slammed with DMs from other women who said, "I have a story to tell." And that was when I realized that this was a lot bigger than I think any of us knew.
Swalwell has acknowledged what he called mistakes of judgment, but denied all allegations of sexual misconduct.
They have never happened, and I will fight them with everything that I have.
And yet on Sunday, he suspended his bid for governor, and yesterday announced his plan to resign from Congress.
Is that justice in your view?
I think we just prevented another 30 to 40 years potentially of him harming people if he were to stay in Congress.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think we have served justice for his future victims. Wow. That won't exist anymore.
We reached out to Swalwell multiple times to ask about these specific.
It gets worse than this because there
Breaking
are
news, the
who said that he actually drugged them. And, yeah.
Fall, and this scandal now widening tonight. Congressman Eric Swalwell resigning from Congress. It's now official. His resignation read before Congress. Swalwell forced to step down amid multiple allegations of sexual misconduct. The scandal already forcing him to drop out of the California governor's race. And tonight here, a new accuser coming forward in an emotional news conference. What she claims he did. ABC's Rachel Scott leading us off.
Tonight, Eric Swalwell, no longer a member of Congress. The clerk reading his resignation on the House floor.
I plan to resign my seat in Congress effective at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on April 14th.
But tonight, the accusations against the Democrat are mounting. At least 6 women have accused him of sexual misconduct. Today, Lana Drews, a former model, coming forward to say that Swalwell assaulted her in his hotel room in 2018.
He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died.
Swalwell's attorney quick to respond, saying the former congressman categorically and unequivocally denies each and every allegation of sexual misconduct and assault, calling them false, fabricated, and deeply offensive. Several women say Swalwell abused his position as a member of Congress. Allie Samarco claims he sent her lewd text messages after offering to help her get a job.
He would say things like, "What are you doing? What are you wearing? Send me a photo of what you're doing." We were talking.
Hill today, Swalwell's close friend, Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona, facing tough questions about what he knew.
This man led a double life. He lied to us. He lied to his family, lied to his constituents.
But Gallego also acknowledging he had heard rumors about Swalwell for many years.
Swalwell had called you his best friend. You have never asked him about any of the rumors that have been swirling around Democratic politics of his inappropriate behavior?
I did. I did ask him, and he lied to me.
Tonight, Eric Swalwell's congressional office empty, newspapers piling up outside. But he's not the only lawmaker to call it quits today. Texas Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez resigning as well amid his own sex scandal. Gonzalez accused of having an affair with a former staffer who later died by suicide. In his statement announcing his departure, Gonzalez saying there is a season for everything. And God has a plan for all of us.
No.
And David, it is rare to see two lawmakers resign on the same day, but both Tony.
So this isn't it. So that we covered Gonzalez before. That was the really weird staffer thing that her husband found out about the affair.
Yeah.
And then she ended up setting herself on fire and killing herself. Absolutely horrible. But this is not all. I don't know if this is like, I don't know how deep this reckoning goes. I'm actually encouraged that there seems to be like a day of reckoning. Looks like 2 more lawmakers have been caught up in all of this shenanigans.
Congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is following the allegations on Capitol Hill and calls for accountability in Congress. Caitlin, good morning.
Good morning. There has been a reckoning up here on Capitol Hill this week, and there's no word yet on when Tony Gonzalez's seat will be filled, but California Governor Gavin Newsom announced a special election to replace Swalwell will occur later in August, just before the midterms. And this all comes as Swalwell faces another allegation of sexual assault. Another woman has come forward to allege sexual assault by Congressman Eric Swalwell. At a press conference Tuesday, Alana Drews claimed the congressman drugged and raped her after offering to help with her career in 2018.
He raped me.
So I don't know.
I died.
After multiple sexual misconduct allegations against him, including one of assault by a former staffer, which Swalwell denies. Earlier this week, 2 of his accusers spoke with CBS News.
I think we just prevented.
After admitting last month he had an affair with a staffer who later died by calls to leave Congress. And 2 congressional women, Republican Ana Paulina Luna of Florida and Democrat Teresa Leger Fernandez of New Mexico, led the charge in forcing them out by preparing measures to expel them.
If it wouldn't have been for those resolutions that we were each filing, they wouldn't have resigned.
Do you think this is a reckoning up here on Capitol Hill?
Probably this is going to set forth maybe a chain reaction. I know in talking to both Democrats and Republicans, they're just like, in so many words, time to take out the trash.
Why did you take it upon yourselves to do this?
I think it's a really poor reflection on all of us. It was unacceptable that nothing was being done about it.
We need to hold ourselves accountable as well.
2 of their other colleagues are also facing calls to be removed. Republican Corey Mills is facing an ethics committee investigation over alleged sexual misconduct, campaign finance violations, and holding federal contracts. Mills was also served a restraining order by an ex-girlfriend. Democrat Sheila Sherfless McCormick was criminally charged last year with stealing $5 million in federal disaster funds and using the money for her congressional campaign.
Oh, dear.
Congresswoman Sherfless McCormick has denied any wrongdoing and is rejecting calls to step down or be expelled, emphasizing due process. And Congressman Corey Mills says he's cooperating with the ethics probe, denies any of the allegations, and says the comparisons to Swalwell and Gonzalez are, quote, unfair. Back to you.
Unfair. Unfair. Let me tell you about unfair, okay? Unfair is that you people hold office at all, period. That's unfair. Now, I don't know. Guys, remind me if we did the Corey Mills episode, because
I don't feel like we covered
went down the Corey Mills rabbit hole. Actually, the Blaze did. Sarah Gonzalez, I think, over there at the Blaze. They have been calling out Corey Mills for a long time. He's one of those stolen valor guys. So, like, there's a weird story of him being over in Afghanistan and, like, nobody knows who he is. Like, he's just kind of like a guy that's there. And eventually he gets like booted out. And he and his Iraqi wife, who were married by a Muslim sheik, started a defense contracting business and made millions of dollars.
That's convenient.
It's very shady. It's very weird. And he had, while he's married to the Iraqi wife, he had a girlfriend that everybody knows that he had his girlfriend that he's hooking up with, and she had a restraining order against him for violence.
Oh my gosh.
Very strange. That kid, I didn't know about the other, I don't know, the other Democrat with the $5 million of FEMA funds.
Yeah, okay, so.
Never heard of her.
A beautiful black woman and $5 million. How does this happen?
I think, here's what I know. The only way you get in Congress is if you're corrupt.
Yeah.
There's no way. And when they are done with you, you're gone. Because you can see, I don't trust when a Democrat and a Republican come together to do much. But I will say that the FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Reconnaissance Association, I don't know what it stands for. I'm making things up. It's the ability to spy on U.S. citizens.
Right.
And Donald Trump vowed to get rid of it because he got caught up in the FISA. Well, it was coming up for renewal. And everybody was going to renew it. Even Donald Trump tweeted. You know what he said? It's so weird. He goes, I'm willing to suffer. And I got the tweet up. Suffer and die.
So
because of FISA, because we have to renew this thing. And
do you have the tweet well, it's not just a tweet, but he ran in 20, I don't know if it was 2020. Well, he's run 3 times now, actually.
Yes.
But he has run on getting rid of FISA.
I know.
Like that has been. And so when you guys come at us and we be like, listen, our boy Trump, who told us he was going to do this, this, and this, and this, and he's doing a complete 180. And then you guys come at us and be like, I can't believe you leaving Trump. Like, marriage vows, to have and to hold, and then sickness and health and all that. You know what I mean?
For FISA or no FISA.
That's not how this works. It's not like that, right? It's not if somebody completely turns. It's not like let's say you marry somebody and you both decide we ain't gonna have kids. It's not gonna happen. We're not having kids. We're getting married. We ain't gonna have kids. It's not something I'm ever gonna do. Or you know what? I'm never gonna move to the Colorado mountains. I'm not doing it. I'm never gonna do that. And then you get married and maybe I want to have kids. Maybe I want to move to Colorado. I don't want to move to Colorado. I'm just giving examples of things people they never wanted to do. They got married. Opinions change. Views change. That's not the same thing as the political realm. You don't just be like, you know what? I'm totally against abortion. I'm running on it. Y'all need to know I'm going to be the most pro-life president that there ever was. And then once you get elected, once you get married, once we now married you, Donald Trump, you can be like, actually, I really think that, 6 weeks is too soon.
Okay.
You don't get to do that.
Thomas Massey retweeted this out. Congressman Burchett, it's going to be right. It was just a couple that actually stood the test of time.
Did you retweet this?
I'm going to here.
Okay.
I'm just going to retweet it because I had it up. All right. So Thomas Massey says, last night between midnight and 2 a.m., they tried to pass 2 bad versions of FISA between midnight and 2 a.m. Both would have allowed the feds to unconstitutionally spy on Americans. We stopped both versions, but the fight isn't over. Eventually, it was decided to give them 2 more weeks to fix FISA. Just in its official, conservatives have blocked an attempt to ram through a 5-year extension of FISA in the dead of night, extending it by only 2 weeks. Lauren Boebert, Matt Massey, and Tim Burchett are out here celebrating a win against the deep state.
Can we play this?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys have successfully blocked the 5-year extension for FISA tonight. You consider this a win? It's a 30-day, when is it?
2 week.
2 week, okay, even better. All right, and why is it important not to extend FISA? I mean, keep in mind, this is what they used to spy on President Trump's campaign. It's a warrantless spying program. Why do you think that they are continuing to try to force this through?
It's the deep state.
It's the deep state.
It's what it does.
Here's the briefing that we're never going to get. Because, they try to bring us into all these classified briefings and, tell us how dangerous it is to have warrants to spy on American citizens. The briefing that we're never going to get is, hi, our agency has been given too much power by Congress. We need you to take some of it back.
And today I went in the SCIF and saw 2 top secret documents that showed this program is getting worse, not better.
Okay, so how does this, I just want to relate this a little bit to like the average American. How could this affect somebody like, you know, your average Kentuckian, the place that you represent? How could FISA being passed again for 5 years?
If you get on the government's
shit list,
bad list, naughty list, regardless of who is in the White House, right? They could put your name in this, find things about you, and then go recreate another evidence trail to discover that. Because they're never going to say they used FISA to find this stuff out about it. And then they go, you get a random stop, traffic stop. Oh, it's Burchett.
It's Burchett.
Burchett's doing his own proof of live video.
Hey!
Hey man, you know they.
What do you think of FISA?
In a Hollywood studio, we really didn't get the
Burchett's,
he's got his video going.
He's looking for aliens over there.
Yes.
What do you think of aliens? What's your actually both of you?
I'm going to defer to Burchett here.
I believe in illegal and the kind from outer space.
Okay, how about FISA? Are they spying on aliens with FISA?
I don't believe in FISA.
You don't
no,
believe in FISA?
The only reason aliens don't come down here because there is no intelligent life. And anyway, I'm tired. So,
I love this guy. I love all these people. These guys are
we'll see you, Nick.
So we have some actual, the very few, there are 535 of you guys, but very few good ones. So just say that.
Yeah, all right.
So,
Oh my gosh, that's pretty good.
When I asked Burchett what he thinks of FISA, if it's used to spy on aliens, he said, I don't believe in FISA. The only reason aliens don't come down here is because there's not intelligent life.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Way to go, Tim Burchett. Speaking of aliens, Donald Trump, if you just go to the left there, says American astronauts are going to go to the moon and we will plant a flag on Mars.
You said to the left?
Right there. That one.
Okay. Hang on. Wait. Let me screen share. We all can watch it together.
We will defeat America's enemies. We will unshackle our magnificent destiny. We will return American astronauts to the moon, and we will plant our flag someday soon on Mars. For almost 250 years, our nation has stood as an inspiration to humanity and proof of what American faith and courage can achieve. It's amazing what's happened, especially what's happened over the last year. We will
So I don't believe that we're going to ever go back to the moon. I don't think we went to the moon. I think that we could probably go to the moon. But I think that before you start talking about Mars, don't you think you should at least land a guy on the moon again?
Right. If it was that simple, you know what I mean?
It's kind of like you're like, you know what? I can't swim in a baby pool, but I'm going to swim the English Channel.
Yeah.
In one go of it.
Mm.
And I have no legs or arms.
What do you think that the...
I'm just going to lap my way there with my mouth.
What do you think Trump's agenda is behind this space stuff?
Elon Musk. You hear something over and over and over again. And Elon is a little demon possessed and a little probably schizophrenic. He's not mentally well. Okay. He makes promises. I don't know if I have it up here, but this week he said, we want to give universal high income for all of the jobs that are going to be replaced by AI. And Michelle made a really good observation.
Now, give him the figure you gave me.
That
it was $100,000, you said.
No, he didn't say. I just made things up.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, like, what is a high income?
Okay.
And Michelle's like, hey, what are those little those circle vacuum things? They can't even empty themselves and they get stuck. The little circle vacuums that go like, and then they like, and here's the thing. They're circles. They will never get into the corners. You're always going to need to hire somebody to get into the corners. You know, it's just a strange.
They have no idea what point I just made by what you just said.
AI is not going to replace all these quote unquote jobs.
How about you?
Because you got a robot vacuum that can't even empty it.
Here's the point that I made.
That was the point I got from your point.
Okay, so you guys know that we're known as the Pilgrim Girls. At the very inception of the land of the Americas, one of the inceptions is the Plymouth Colony. And they all had to work together in unison for all the food. And there were some people that just sat around and they were just lazy. They didn't do anything and they just still continued to eat from the same community basket. So what did the governor, William Bradford, do?
No more socialism.
He's like, listen, no, everybody, you grow what you grow and you eat what you grow, and production exploded. So if you are going to get $5,000 UBI every month, and I was previously the trash guy that, drove by and got trash from the curb, I'm getting $5,000 a month UBI, universal basic income. We're both getting UBI. We're both getting $5,000. What's the incentive to actually do the jobs that still need doing?
There will always need to be jobs.
Zero.
And
zilch.
This is the whole idea of like going to Mars still. Like, we have not been to the moon. Okay. And we just slang it shot.
We
slang shot some astronauts around the moon. I would say, when you're on a road trip and you're passing something and you're probably never going to pass it again in your life, you get out. You walk around from it. You take a picture. Okay?
If it's that simple.
In the 1960s, you're going to tell me that we got some astronauts. They went to the moon. They got out. Who's filming, by the way?
They're hopping around.
They're just hopping around. We planted that flag there. We got back on, started that rocket ship back up, and zoomed it all the way back home. And then they're telling us that because the NASA engineers that created that rocket are dead.
That says one small step for man. This is one giant leap for mankind.
Yep. There you go. That's how they did it.
I wasn't even there.
You weren't even there.
But pretty good.
That was pretty good. So
A++.
Listen, you shotted yourself around the moon, and you came back, and then you kissed the ground, and you did all the things. Wonderful. We're not going to Mars. We don't need to go to Mars. Stop it.
I'm actually angry. I ain't like angry eyes. Okay, I'm angry because I don't want to be the we didn't land on the moon person. Like, I don't want to be that. I remember when Matt came and brought it to us at first. He didn't bring it to us. Like, he brought it to it, like, because I've always known that people believe that, but he brought it to us, like, legit.
Like, that is so crazy.
And I was like, that's so dumb, and what's his, Bill Hicks is Alex Jones, like, the whole 9 yards, right? And so I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I know. And here's the thing. Do you know why I know that we landed on the moon? Here's how I know that we landed on the moon. Because my entire life I was told that we did. And so it became a deeply held core belief of mine. And you can't take that away from somebody without ripping part of their soul with them. I wasn't even alive when this thing happened, and yet it's in me. Like, it's American as apple pie. We landed on the daggone moon. You can't take it away. And yet, here we are. And these people, it's not my fault we didn't actually land on the moon. So don't call me crazy tinfoil hat wearing whatever, because y'all lied to people. You guys don't even know Neil Armstrong. He would never lie. Look how honest that man is. He has one of those honest faces, and he does. You see Neil Armstrong, and he talks about his experience on the moon, and you're like, I know you did. I know you went there. But here's the problem. Like, did he go there, or did he just go there?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a really good question.
I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be and I will never be. And this is I draw the line, because Bible. You will never find Leah and I as flat earthers. If you are one, that's fine. We're not going to debate it. And you can leave your comments for other people to read. We're not debating that. I'm not going there. It's that the Bible, okay, and science and God. Okay, but I won't ever go there. But in my mind, it was in that category.
Okay, so just one more video on the Swalwell, because Senator John Kennedy, always the gentleman, I want to let him weigh in on the Swalwell massacre here.
I don't know whether I ought to do this, but I'm going to do it.
That's what I started the show off with.
I don't hate anybody. I've said that before standing here. I don't. I do not.
You have to.
When I pray, I pray.
Why do we expect you?
God, don't let me hate, because it is hard up here. It's not worth it.
Okay.
But if I had a short list of people that I would consider hating, Congressman Eric Swalwell would be on it.
He doesn't like him a lot.
He is.
So Michelle.
Yep.
He is undermined.
This staffer right here. It feels AI because this staffer here has to sit here and like not move.
And the confidence of the American people in this body.
We're gonna get teary-eyed.
Here's my impression of Congressman Eric Swalwell eating an ice cream cone.
Oh, dear God.
You know why I do that? Life is hard.
It's even
but it's harder when you're stupid. And if you're going to be stupid, by God, you better be tough. This is no country for creepy old men. And Congressman Swalwell, he better find that out. Karma may be slow, but it's almost always on time.
I think that he and my Uncle Jack could just sit there and go back and forth like all day.
I know.
So, you know, we ask Uncle Jack, hey, you want to go to the movies? Or he'll say, might as well.
No, can't
dance. But he can dance. So,
Kitty, though.
Yeah, he could. Back in the day.
Well, sure, yeah.
So, you know, we're looking for ideas for Uncle Jack because, as you know, maybe some of you don't know, he got a knee replacement last June, and it's been a while of recovery. And it was like a whole summer of kind of like pain from the surgery and like medicines. And then it was winter. And suddenly spring has sprung.
Spring is in the air.
And he's realizing that he can walk. Not, you know, he still uses his cane, but he's not using his walker. He's using his cane. He wanted to help cover our couch. We have an outdoor couch we cover.
In the rain.
For the rain, it didn't actually rain. And we had a table on top of a table, anything. And then I heard a crash and I heard glass. And so as he was pulling the cover off, this other table fell onto this glass table, and it was, you know,
it was already broken though.
It had a little tiny place.
Yeah.
And he was sweeping the garage, and
good little sweeper.
So we were like, are there any like envelope stuffing businesses? And Michelle and I both Googled it at the same time. And
we didn't know we were both Googling
got the same answer that said, if you do find someone offering for you to stuff envelopes, it is a scam. Run away.
Phishing.
It's a phishing scam.
No, 8-Ball says phishing. So here's a problem with the phishing. That's not a bad idea. It's a good idea, actually. We're hoping for some things he can do around the house by himself.
Yeah, because like we'd have to go.
We have to go fishing, which would be, I guess, good for us. I've only been fishing like once in my life.
Yes,
but that would be more of a group thing. I'm looking for something, and I was thinking even like a job. Like I thought Walmart greeter, but like he's got a little social anxiety. So that might not be like a good.
Yeah, and he got a little dementia, so that would kind of be a little hard to get to the bathroom and back.
Right.
So that's not going to work.
Yeah.
He getting to walk, but not far.
Right. So we're hoping for like I what the AI suggested to me. It's called light assembly.
Okay.
I don't even know. I do know exactly what that is. It's what I do for our products. Okay.
But you do actually, some of your products have been lightly assembled by Uncle Jack.
Well, no, they've been lightly taken apart. Like if they come with plastic on them.
Okay, yeah, they have not been assembled by Uncle Jack. That's true.
He helps me take the plastic out.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're still praying about that. He definitely and he's very, very handy. He's been out there working on his truck. He was a mechanic for 25 years.
Yeah, we're kind of hoping it doesn't actually start and keep, because he can try to drive it, which he did last summer.
The 52.
It got out of the thing, and then it took a while to get back up, and
yeah,
got stuck in the front yard for a while, right during the yard sale.
Yeah.
Oh, that was something else.
That was intense.
It was. You know what else is intense? There's going to be, it's been unprecedentedly warm. It's going to get cold. Just I'm going to do
I'm not
a little
ready.
Resistance Chicks weather report for you. Mother Nature across the mid-Atlantic can only be described by Katy Perry lyric, "You're hot and then you're cold." As a meteorologist warns that a tropospheric polar vortex will sweep across the lower 48 this weekend into early next week, abruptly ending the summer-like conditions in Washington, D.C. And here, Michelle and I briefly toyed with the idea of opening the pool. But then I said the low of 37 would probably drop the temperatures
Well, we don't
a
hurt
little.
the pumps.
Yes. A bulging lobe of the tropospheric polar vortex will be tracking through the lower 48, bringing a cold front and much cooler air to the eastern U.S. Let's play the video. As you can see it coming in.
Do you mean climate engineering?
Folks.
Is that the bulging lobe? Watch it again. The blue spinny thing.
It's a bulging lobe.
Here it comes. There. It turns into a, like, right there. Shh, what's wrong with you?
It looks... Listen, when you use purple, that's really cold, right?
So we get
my
one
goodness.
sweep of purple, and then it looks like it's going to come again.
A little blue.
I'm not okay with this.
Folks in the Capital Beltway will see a 40-degree swing in high temperatures. Yesterday's was 93. Monday's will be 52. Average temperatures in Washington, because that's what this article's about.
This isn't right.
At this time of year, typically run in the mid-50s. Mother Nature still cannot seem to settle on a steady rise in temperature trend, with Northern Hemisphere spring underway. Okay, so I'm just telling you right here in the United States of America,
so
the United States of Ohio, we're having a temperature drop as well. So we got...
I want to talk about Mother Nature.
You're going to talk about Mother Nature?
Right. So we don't know what happened to Savannah Guthrie's mom.
No.
No idea.
No.
She was kidnapped.
Sunday and Monday. Oh, Sunday's the birthday party. Keep going. 54.
No,
58.
But follow me on this. Savannah Guthrie's mother. Kidnapped. Mother Nature.
Mother Nature. Has been kidnapped?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Because this is not right.
Okay.
Oh, no, I don't want to cover this stuff. This is the negative stuff that Wicked Psych was talking about. I'm not covering this garbage.
Do we not? I almost didn't. I did.
Can you just tell him?
Have you guys seen the video?
I'm turn that off.
We're going to play. I have to read it. I have to read what Mike Winger says. This is the most dystopian thing I've ever seen. 2 gay guys have somebody's baby. He asked the baby who he wants. If you haven't seen this video, these gay guys, and he's holding up this baby and he's kind of bouncing it. And he says, "Who do you want?" And the baby says, "Mama," because the baby's first words are kind of mama. And he tells the baby, "There is no mama. You have dada or pop." And the baby cries. The baby cries. Because he's trying to reason.
But how does this video get shared?
A 9-month-old baby. They think it's funny because gay men are child abusers. I'm just going to say it. Gay men who adopt babies, man, you're going to kick me off the internet. They're all child abusers. Every last one of them. Because I'm going to tell you something. It is abusive to a child to purposefully take that baby from a mommy. That there was a mommy that surrogacy has to be outlawed. It's outlawed like in Europe and in other places. Michelle's right. We're just going to close it out. We're not even going to talk about it. You know what? I'm going to pull a Senator Kennedy. There are people, if I hated people, there would be a short list of people that I would hate. And if I did hate people, on that list would be gay men who adopt children and babies. And it would be anybody, if I did hate people, it would be people who hired quote unquote surrogates and then stole the baby from that mom on purpose. Because I think that those people should be hated. But if I did hate people, but we don't hate here, I guess. That's the thing, I guess. I don't know.
So, and Sherry, 8-Ball, I am going to read this comment. So Sherry's son is a police officer, and her son called right before the show. And she said it's been a bad week at the police department, so she wanted to take the call because one of his fellow officers lost an arm during a traffic stop.
Lord.
And she says, please pray for the officer's fiance too. She's been a mess. They're supposed to be married next month.
Whoa.
We knew about this, but I'm reiterating it for you guys to be able to pray. She says, rough week for all, terrifying for me as a mother. My son is safe, but you never know.
How did that even happen? Well, God, we lift up this officer. We ask that you would heal his body and restore his life and turn this tragedy into a triumph, just like our neighbor whose husband lost a leg, but he didn't die, and they're making a miraculous turnaround with that. And I ask you that they do that in Jesus' name.
Amen.
So former congressman blows the whistle on blackmail and honeypots in Congress. In a candid interview with Human Events editor Jack Posobiec, Representative Madison Cawthorn alleged that blackmail and sexual honeypot operations are far more prevalent than the American public is aware of. Cawthorn, he was elected to represent North Carolina's 11th district, just 20 years old in 2020. He says, normally the way I found out these things start getting off the ground is that it starts out, you're maybe a donor at a donor dinner or getting dinner after a late night of votes. He says, then everyone has friends inside Congress, and you start hanging out with friends. Maybe you're grabbing drinks or on the way back to Capitol Hill, headed back to your homes. Then you start building these relationships. I guess you could just play it. And most congressmen like to hang out with other congressmen.
What's it like? You're in Congress and then you get invited to something like this. You hear about this. What
your homes, and then you start building these relationships, and then hey, well, why don't you come back? And my wife would love to hang out with you, and we could see what could be going on here. And I think we'd have a really good time if we all got together in this way. And then you just started piecing together, and you say, well, wait a minute. What kind of invitation are you inviting me here? This sounds really weird. What do you mean leave my phone at the house? That doesn't make any sense. All these random things that they're saying. And it becomes very clear that, they're looking. That's the big one is just, hey, check your phone at the door, that kind of thing. And, I had no interest in anything like that. I've got a phenomenal life. I was only 25 years old when I was in Congress. And so that interested me not whatsoever. But, I thought that the majority of people were the architects of trying to take down my political career. And I want you to ask yourselves, out of all the people who notably came out against me or who, sent funds to make sure that I was pushed out of Congress, ask yourself, where are those people now? And I'm very happy that I was able to take the majority of them down, or the majority of them are now out of office or have terrible personal lives at this point. But I will tell you, there are so many people inside of Washington, D.C. that have much worse on them than what's going on inside of this video. And normally it's used so that people can hold this over their head for certain kinds.
We're just going to shut that down because that's a horrible video. That there is a video out of Eric Swalwell with escorts, by the way, very young looking escorts. I'm not going to play that video for you, but yeah, there's a lot of evidence against Swalwell and these disgusting human beings that need to be held accountable. And I hope that they are held accountable. I truly do, because it's pretty crazy. Catherine Herridge says that there's a Swalwell tip line. Representative Luna says major purge on Capitol Hill. And if you scroll down, let's listen a little bit to Catherine Herridge with a Representative Luna here.
Straight to the point, the purge on Capitol Hill after allegations of sexual and financial misconduct lead to high-profile resignations in the House. Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna says it's time to take out the trash, and she expects even more resignations to come. The Congresswoman is also taking on the Epstein files and the secretive congressional slush fund that buries misconduct with taxpayer money. In this conversation, nothing was off limits. So let's get straight to the point.
She got fired from CBS. So now
Was
she has
Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell's alleged sexual misconduct an open secret on Capitol Hill?
From what we're hearing with all the women coming forward from his staff that has actually reached out to my office in support of what I did, and then also from commentary, for example, of Kevin McCarthy, the former speaker, it seems as much.
Did the Democrats protect Congressman Swalwell because he was useful until it became too much?
I don't think that there's any way that they didn't know about that. So how it works in politics for people that might not know the process is usually if someone's then going to run for higher office, even when you're running for Congress, there's opposition research files where you basically go through and you can pull test vulnerabilities, see if things can be used as like kill shots in campaigns, right? I think that the opposition research that was out there on Swalwell, especially because it was such an openly discussed, I think they knew about it.
What was the tipping point? Was the California governor's race the tipping point?
For me specifically, how I guess this kind of transpired is on Thursday, I think it was, I saw a second person come forward regarding Representative Tony Gonzalez. And then on Friday, I think it was, the news started breaking on Swalwell. And I got so frustrated because for us that are actually trying to do good work and trying to actually root out corruption, all of that, it is such a disservice to the American people and also to the institution in regards to integrity that I was like, I'm just going to do the motion to expel. At this point in time, I saw the video circulating. So to be clear, the way that both the expulsions were written for both Tony and Swalwell, it was on violation of Congressional Code of Conduct for inappropriate relationships with staffers. For me, the tipping point was I'm not going to serve with these men. I knew it was going to start a chain reaction for expulsion of other members, but I look at this like a purge.
These 5 women have come forward. The California accuser alleges she was raped and drugged. The Manhattan DA is getting involved. Is the Swalwell matter quickly becoming a potential criminal matter?
I think it's already a criminal investigation based on who I have referred to the DOJ that they should talk to regarding some of the stuff that we're hearing about who recorded that infamous hotel video. And then there was an issue of him being basically handled by foreign intelligence, the Chinese spy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when you're looking at Swalwell as not just a target of a honeypot operation, but also what he was doing, I definitely think that there's a criminal investigation taking place currently.
Have more women come forward to your office?
No more women have come forward to my office about Swalwell. I did hear of a woman in particular, and I'm actually trying to see if she'd be willing to talk with me regarding a sitting senator. And that is something that I've already, as a courtesy, flagged for John Thune, because in my opinion, first of all, I do not have the bandwidth to do all of this. And also this is supposed to be something that congressional ethics is supposed to be doing. But with the nature of the allegation, as well as close proximity to Swalwell, I, as due diligence, forwarded that.
We have this email that was sent from a former Swalwell staffer to your office. The email, they state they're firmly in favor of expulsion. That was not needed in the end, but they warn you about his, quote, weaselly language, and that if there was a vote, many staffers would be there. When you saw this email from a former Swalwell staffer, you thought what?
I realized how bad it was. I think that there's always going to be cases where you might have a staffer that's, ticked off or whatever it might be. But when you have 50 people signing onto a letter coming forward saying that there was misconduct, and it was actually not the only person that came forward from his office. His chief of staff actually reached out to my chief of staff and said, just so you know, there's going to be a transition period. We want to make sure that the staff is taken care of. And so he will be resigning at this point in time. And by the way, we support what you're doing.
Congressman Swalwell says he's made mistakes. He says he's going to fight the allegations. There's reporting his lawyer has called them false, fabricated, and offensive. He's put his California race on pause. He's resigned from Congress. Is that enough punishment?
I think, again, there's going to be a criminal investigation.
Do other House members have skeletons in their closets?
Yes.
How many?
I'd say right now there's probably about two House members, likely one senator. But I think that this right now is freaking a lot of people out. And also, I think this is kind of something that we've been pushing forward, but we wanted to release the Congressional Slush Fund.
Is this the beginning of a major purge on Capitol Hill?
I think so.
How many members are we talking about?
Well, as of right now, there's probably 3 between the House and the Senate.
3. But there could be more.
There could be more, yeah. There's always rumors, but rumors aren't always true. It's what's in evidence.
On Capitol Hill, is there a culture of misconduct and corruption?
I think up until recently, people, the powers that be, maybe were concerned about numbers, specifically how it could impact each party. Right now, though, people are so fed up with having to answer questions on this or being associated with it, because we don't want to even be associated with these people. We are not the same. That there is for the first time ever, a general consensus that we can at least agree on that these people all need to go. And so again, I've been saying this publicly, but the best way to describe it is it's time to take out the trash.
Well, Congressman Gonzalez says he's going to resign or has resigned.
Did, yeah.
Okay. Is it time to expel Corey Mills, who faces his own allegations?
I would say that the ethics report and investigation that currently is out there, from what I've heard, is not so good. I would hope that it wouldn't come to an expulsion, and that if this stuff is true, that he bow out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I know that on the 21st, Sheila McCormick will be voted to be expelled. The expulsion resolution has been written then. I am not personally bringing forward any more expulsions, but I'm also not going to vote and protect people that are doing wrong by the American people. So yes, I would vote to expel if there's grounds for it. And I've said that I don't care about party.
We're talking right now about allegations of sexual misconduct. Can we take it a step further? Is there evidence that insider trading is common on Capitol Hill?
Insider trading. Okay. Insider trading is so bad on the Hill that on average, it doesn't matter Democrat, if they are engaging in stock trades, they're making over 600% returns. They are outperforming the S&P, period.
Have you firsthand seen evidence that suggests that members are involved in insider trading?
Well, I don't watch them do the trades themselves, but when you have access to, for example, we know when government contracts, or there's going to be, for example, massive authorizations for a defense bill, right? Or a certain country is going to be getting munitions, whatever it might be. And then you see the people on committees of jurisdiction, whether it's defense appropriation, whether it's House Armed Services, whether it's, energy and commerce, making these stock trades. And then all of a sudden you see that they're getting big contracts through the committee of jurisdiction where the legislation comes through. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do this. Or you have the example of, you have a member of Congress and they say, of course we support, a ban on members of Congress for trading stocks, but then their spouse or their child is all of a sudden a very, very amazing Wolf of Wall Street stock trader. I mean, that's a huge problem. When I actually brought forward this issue, I was sitting on the steps of the Capitol Hill with Tim Burchett, and I said, if we don't do something about this now, it's never going to happen. It's a midterm, it's a slim majority. We actually might be able to get the legislation passed. And they told us that we were going to be responsible for losing the midterms, that we were intentionally forcing our colleagues to take bad votes.
So
we got pressure.
I was going to say you got pressured.
Yeah, we were badgered.
Not to go down this insider trading route.
Yeah, just like we got pressured on a number of other things when you're going after the institutional corruption and insider trading. Just to put it in perspective, we have meetings with CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. We have access to all of the spending that's going to happen, which companies are going to be privately benefiting from it, committees of jurisdiction, everything. These people are coming in, they're making $175,000 a year, and they're leaving sometimes
with millions.
Yeah, worth 10, 20 million. Yeah. When we try to reform the bill, initially they didn't want the disgorgement of.
And they can't, because here's the thing, you're not making a lot of money in the fact that you have to have almost 2 houses. And the only real incentive is to insider trade or to become a lobbyist. And it unfortunately the system actually creates this, right? Yeah. So, but she's one of the big people on Epstein. So when I come forward here just a minute.
Your average American. And when you're up here and you're around these people all the time, you live up here, you're not going back home, it's a lot easier to get sucked into that mentality of, oh, well, maybe that might be my friend. I don't want to vote to, do this to my friend.
Right. Let's talk about the Epstein files. What do you want to hear from these women who allegedly recruited and scheduled girls for Epstein?
What I hope to hear from them is they were given plea deals, even though they knowingly engaged in trafficking of young girls. Okay, that's what this was. Who were they trafficking them to? Give us names, because as of right now, we haven't received names yet from the victims. We've been able to look at the files. We see that certain people that should be sitting in jail with Ghislaine Maxwell were given plea deals. Okay, so where's the accountability in that? Because in my opinion, if they were doing that, they should be in jail.
We shared with your office some records which suggest that Jeffrey Epstein was working with Saudi contacts to try and frustrate the ability of the 9/11 families to sue Saudi Arabia. Does it look like Jeffrey Epstein was violating FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act?
100%. And I think that FARA is still being violated. There's a number of people currently that are advocating and working on behalf of foreign governments. There's no disclosure. I think FARA has been temporarily shut down. So that's like a whole separate conversation. But the interesting thing about Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm sure maybe the DOJ might disagree with me on this, but I think that he was an intel asset. And I say that based on the passport that we found, where it's basically his face. It's an Austrian passport, fake name, Saudi address.
Will you pursue the
Wow,
Epstein
so
Saudi?
his name, Saudi address, fake passport. Of course he's an asset. Absolutely an asset. So here she's talking about Iran here.
I don't agree. But I think that there's a way in doing it. In regards to specifically with the foreign policy, people are forgetting that President Trump coming to office, if he wanted World War III, he could have easily fully gone into Ukraine and started a war with Russia. And he was one of the only presidents that actually had advocated for a peace in Ukraine. And to actually bring Russia to the table and say, we need to start negotiating a peace deal. To my understanding, Zelensky's the one holding up the peace deal in Ukraine currently. And if President Trump gets that, that's incredible. And so people need to take this into account. I think that there's a lot of noise online, but just based on my conversations, I think that he's delivering big for the American people. And I think that as we move closer to the midterms, you'll see that there's a method to this quote unquote madness, and it is working. And what I will say is that unfortunately we're in a news cycle and a day and age where it's like a 24-hour intense cycle and then
It
transitions.
is a totally intense.
So that's you have to right now, in order to get anything done on Capitol Hill, you have to be pro-Trump. You can't call him out, even though she knows that he literally stopped the release of the Epstein files. This has been something that's really, really, really important to her, but she can't speak out against him, because if you do, he will put you in a wood chipper. Okay, you are not coming out alive. And so I think that she's smart. I don't know how long it will last for her to be able to walk that line with Trump. Looks like Swalwell here, Eric Swalwell and Ruben Gallego were just exposed for spending campaign funds on Puerto Rican escorts for Gallego's wedding. Escorts for your wedding? That should not be a sentence. In 2020 or 2021, thousands of campaign dollars were used for personal expenses. Gallego might go next. The Daily Mail reports Gallego spent $2,000 of campaign funds at a luxurious Fairmont El San Juan in Puerto Rico, where he was married. And Swalwell spent $1,500 in campaign funds at the Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve, right down the road on the same day. To make matters worse, Gallego was marrying his mistress, who he left his previous wife for, while she was 9 months pregnant with their child.
Oh, dear God.
And this is Gallego saying, he lied to us all.
Do we have to play it again?
No, but they hired escorts for the wedding with the mistress that you left your 9-month pregnant wife for. Why isn't that guy gone?
Can I say white trash?
Yes, absolutely white trash. Come on.
It's very trashy.
It's just so absolutely worse than white trash. Do we have some Supreme Court people that are gonna resign? Trump made some remarks that there was going to be a couple open seats.
A couple?
Yeah. And let me see if I can open this. In a recent interview with Maria Bartiromo, Trump reveals he has multi-pick SCOTUS plan ready as retirement speculation heats up. You can play this clip here. I don't trust Trump with any more SCOTUS picks.
Amazon offers
and I'm not
hourly
fighting
employees help.
for any of them. I've been Kavanaghed and Barretted out my brain.
Fool me once. Well, they did fool us twice.
They fooled us twice.
They did do it.
Almost 3 times. Gorsuch's not that
I'm
great.
expecting to name another Supreme Court justice. The speculation is that Justice Alito will step down this summer.
Well, in many ways, I have to tell you, while it's an honor, I think he is one of the great justices of all time. So, it'd be nice to say, now I have somebody for 40 years. Justice Alito is an unbelievable justice and a brilliant justice. And he gets the country. He does what's right for the country. It's the law, and he goes by it as much as anybody. But he gets to the point that's good for our country. So, when you tell me that, one way you should be, I'm thrilled. But he's so good.
But, if there is a vacancy, do you have a short list of people that you would name?
Do. Yeah,
you do?
I do.
Do you expect that we will see change by year end?
You mean on the Supreme Court?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I think Justice Alito is in very good physical health, because you mentioned his name.
Well, what about Clarence Thomas? I'm just thinking about the oldest Republicans.
Look, there's a theory. You reach a certain age and you give up your seat if you have the precedent. Well, look what happens to Justice Ginsburg. She was not exactly a young woman. The election was taken. They had a Democrat who could have appointed a liberal justice, and the liberals do stick together. There's one thing about those justices. They stick together like glue, not like the Republicans. But she decided that she was going to live forever. And about 2 minutes after the election, she went out, and I got to appoint somebody. So, you make the case that at a certain time, you give it up so that you can have a justice. The average is like 40 years. It's a long time. So that your ideology, your policies, your everything would be of the kind that we like. But
so, he says there could be 2. Now, I'm hoping that Clarence Thomas does not step down. And it says a source close to Alito.
How old is Alito?
I don't know.
They don't seem that old to me. I feel like they got another solid 10 years in them. And I do not.
He's 76. He's not.
He could keep going.
So I think he's the same age as Clarence Thomas, actually.
How long they been there?
I don't know. A while. I know Clarence Thomas was coming in the 80s or something. It's been a while.
2006 is Alito.
Okay.
He's only been there 20 years.
And here's the thing, that's a George Bush appointee, and I think he did a good job. Trump, he did not do a good job. Barrett stinks. Kavanaugh stinks. Don't like them. They're not great. They're not great. They're not great. Did I say they weren't great? They're not great. They're not great. Let's say, so the stuff with Iran keeps changing. So I'm going to actually play a CBS News report. Please forgive me for doing
President
this.
Trump is...
But I'm trying to find out like where we at this moment. Okay. Because everybody's like, yay, Trump won the war. And then I'm reading a tweet from the Persian head of parliament. It's like, no, Trump lied on 7 points and we still control the Strait of Hormuz. And if Trump keeps naval blockade, all is off. Like it's, it's kind of hard to see where this thing is going. And then Iran's like, you're not taking our nuclear dust, you weirdo. And then Trump's like, we're taking more than the dust.
selling. The markets are buying. All the world. Iran has agreed to almost everything, including, the president said, in a conversation with my colleague Weijia Jiang, a joint U.S.-Iranian effort to remove all highly enriched uranium from the country. This handing over of the keys to Iran's nuclear kingdom would come, Trump told Weijia, without the U.S. handing over even $1, not even in Trump's words,
$1,
10
Bob.
cents.
10 cents,
About
Bob.
all of this from the president, Iran has said next to nothing. It did say, however, through state-run media, that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, that's the IRGC you hear so much about, would continue to supervise passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Might it exact tolls? Unclear. Is that perceived as menacing? Mostly yes, as vessels appear as hesitant today to transit the strait as they were yesterday. Also, this might be important, the U.S. blockade of any vessels linked to Iranian ports continues, which Iran said constituted a violation of these new current understandings. How big a violation? No one knows. And yet, markets exploded this morning with enthusiasm, though they trimmed their sails in some late session trading as, well, diplomatic scolds reminded the traders on Wall Street that much about all this remains unsettled and opaque. Oil traded down for most of the day. That was good news. West Texas Intermediate fell 10%. Brent crude fell 9%. Those futures, though, also crept up a little bit in the afternoon. In the main, though, markets bought optimism. It's going to be up to the diplomats to deliver reality. Another round of U.S. talks with Iran could commence in a couple of days, according to our latest CBS News reporting. Trump said today he might even travel to Islamabad, Pakistan, to finalize a big deal.
Wow.
The key word in so many of today's headlines, might. This might happen. This might be happening. We have, by all accounts, entered into the TBD phase of this war. So many contours to be determined. We begin tonight with CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson, who joins me here in the Conversation Corner. Eleanor, what did Iran say about all this today?
Well, Iran kind of responded to this flurry of posts by President Trump. He was posting to kind of manifest a deal that he wants, while Iran is continuing to try and set its own conditions. One of those posts, as you mentioned, was he said Iran proclaimed that the Strait of Hormuz is fully open. Iran said, not so fast. We say it's open, but if you go along our controlled route, saying Iran is still essentially in control. Another post President Trump made was that Iran has agreed to give up the nuclear dust. His term for...
So, yeah, I'm going to show you guys that tweet. Something I'd never really heard before. The U.S. will get all the nuclear dust created by our great B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the U.S. will separately work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer, even though they did bomb Lebanon right after that. They kind of got to, the toot's there, it's got to come out.
Yeah.
The missile was ready to go. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. So Trump being very hardline on Israel, saying, stop it, Israel, basically taking a ruler, smacking Bibi on the hand and over the head, and probably doing the ice cream thing that Kennedy was talking about. Stupid, stupid, stupid. No more. I'm not sure about this nuclear dust. What he's trying to say is they don't have the ability to make any more uranium. We just need them to sign. Like, we took all that out. So we're going to go sweep it up with our Zumba vacuum that can't go into corners and collect all the dust. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but
for the near bomb grade enriched uranium, about 900 pounds of it that is still deeply buried inside Iran.
And not dust.
And not dust.
How do we know this for sure? Did they just tell you, like, we have 900 pounds buried deep underground, not going to tell you where, Israel knows where, but you did not bomb it. You bombed, but you missed the bomb there. Then you have 900 pounds of it. Boom.
Iran said, again, we have not agreed to that. And in fact, an Iranian news agency just posted before this show began that Iran considers the enriched uranium, quote, as sacred to us as Iranian soil and will never be surrendered. So while President Trump is selling, as you said, his points, Iran is...
But what about dust? Can we have the dust?
Still declining those, so huge gaps remain ahead of this deadline on Tuesday of the ceasefire.
The Defense Intelligence Agency submitted to Congress some interesting information about missiles and one-way attack drones still in Iran's possession.
That's right. Yesterday, during a hearing on the House side, the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency that said in a written statement that Iran still retains thousands of missiles and one-way attack drones that could pose a threat to U.S. and allied interests. That goes kind of against the fact that the military objectives, as President Trump has said, have been achieved. The president earlier this week in an interview said that Iran has been destroyed militarily, that the only card it has is the Strait of Hormuz. But clearly that testimony submitted yesterday shows that Iran still has some cards to play to try and inflict as much damage as it can and endure a longer war if it needs to.
Eleanor Watson, great stuff. Thank you so very much. CBS News national security analyst Aaron McClain joins me as I walk over to the touchscreen. He's also the host of the most excellent School of War podcast. So how do we look at today? That traffic, as I said, kind of stalled. Is it open? Is it not? How should we evaluate this? How should we think about this?
Let's zoom in, Major, to the Strait of Hormuz here. Look, the bottom line is, as of this moment, and things can always change.
Why are we here? I don't care. I know you don't care, but we're doing one segment on this. Gosh darn it.
Very quickly, the Strait of Hormuz is not open. You know how you can't declare bankruptcy by just shouting in a crowded room, I declare bankruptcy? You can't open the Strait of Hormuz for the same reasons. The Iranians are going to have to agree. The closest they came this morning to agreeing was to state, as you and Eleanor were just discussing, that you can move through the Strait on their approved route. That's this northern route here up through Iranian territorial waters. Now, even if that were true, and by the way, there have been some conflicting statements even on that as the day went on, even if that were true, that's still pretty menacing in the way that, Major, if you were to walk out of your house into your street in front of your house one morning, and there were a bunch of mobsters standing there and said, sure, you can walk down the street, but you got to walk down right here. If you walk down over there, we can't say what's going to happen to you. That's not acceptable on your street for law and order, and it's not acceptable in international
And it's not acceptable for the owners of the vessels or those insurers backing up what the cargo is.
That's right. Even if these international lanes, which are these white control measures you see down here, down the middle of the strait, were reopened today, it would take some time to build confidence back. If you have Iran still essentially throwing its weight around and saying, no, our strait, our rules, that's going to take it substantially longer if it's ever going to happen at all.
And the U.S. blockade remains.
Absolutely. So Iran has its de facto blockade even as we speak here in the strait itself. Then if we zoom out, this is a bit of a wider look. We were just looking at this spot right here. That's the Strait of Hormuz. The United States Navy has drawn a line here, basically from the tip of Oman here up to the Pakistani-Iranian border. This is the blockade line. And Iran, which of course has ports all along the ocean, up the way its coast up here into the Persian Gulf, any ship entering or leaving an Iranian port, the United States Navy asserts it will intercept roughly in the vicinity of this line. It seems, based on Central Command statements, it's been pretty successful in getting ships to turn around as they come out. The question right now that I don't know the answer to, and I'm not sure anybody really does outside of CENTCOM, is what are they doing about ships going in? It's a little bit less clear and probably a little bit more challenging to catch them.
How do you evaluate what Eleanor and I were just talking about, this Defense Intelligence Agency declaration to Congress that Iran, I'm just going to quote it directly, retains thousands of missiles and one-way attack drones?
Well, they've got these deeply buried sites throughout the country where they've been storing this stuff. We have hammered them pretty hard, and they have a lot less than they did at the start of this war. Probably not enough to achieve much more beyond harassment throughout the region. But what does harassment look like? Harassment can look like blowing up a petrochemical plant. Harassment can look like hitting a ship in the Gulf. So even if Iran is militarily a lot less capable than it was recently, its ability to do these counter-economic targets remains. And that's why they do still have cards to play.
Aaron McClain, great.
War's not over. I'm just trying to tell you, as the title of the show tonight, I'm like, where are we at? Because Trump is like the war, and everybody was like posting online, you people, you war people, you anti-war people, you were just a scaredy cat, and Trump knew what he was doing all along. Because guys, stop taking what Trump tweets as universal fact. Because if you did, you would have taken his universal fact that like on Easter, we were getting ready to blow a civilization out of the water. So I'm telling you, the same guy that tweeted that is the same guy that tweeted, oh, all good. We're all good here. We're going to get the dust. We're going to get our Hoover vacuum. We're just going to, it's all dust. So we just basically have all of Iran. We're taking all their nuclear dust. We're taking it all. They've agreed to everything. And then Iran immediately is like, oh no, hold back on 7 points. It's not true. It's not true. It's open, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. And if I'm an oil tanker and I'm not an oil tanker, but if I was and I owned an oil tanker, I'd be like, you know what? That would be the time when it was like AI. Like, I don't want to put anybody's life at risk. I don't want anybody to be blown up by a mine or something like that. So I think that those poor, you know what, I abandon ship, go home. Like if I'm like, how long are these guys stuck on those tankers? It feels like claustrophobic in there. You know, they're stuck in the Persian Gulf like forever. Like, what is happening?
So I have a couple of thoughts.
She's got thoughts.
But mine are not as serious as all of this.
You don't have to have any serious thoughts on this.
You know what I was thinking
I'm done with the serious thoughts
as I was
on this.
preparing tonight's show.
You didn't want to have to blow your nose during live show.
That too. I was very afraid. I think like in the same way that I could draw the shape of America, or I could draw the shape of Ohio or Florida or California, you know, like in like Utah, easy. Like I now can draw this. I could draw the shape of the Strait of Hormuz.
Could you now? Well,
like if somebody shows me a picture of the Strait of Hormuz, like let's say I'm playing Jeopardy.
Ugh.
One of our clients and neighbors stopped by yesterday, and she was talking about Jeopardy, and Leah said, "You still watch Jeopardy?" And she goes, "Every night," with her husband, and they're like young. Okay, they're like what, 65? They're not as old as mom. They're like 5 years younger than mom. So like super young, and yet they still watch Jeopardy every night. I just find it funny. So the Strait of Hormuz, a year ago, just the picture of it comes up on Jeopardy, and it says, you know, are you able to answer that image?
Okay.
No, answer my question.
What do you mean?
Are you, a year ago,
could I
if the picture of the Strait of Hormuz comes up, you ain't gonna identify it?
No.
So here's what I
would not say what is the Strait of Hormuz.
Right, because first of all, even if you were given a multiple choice, let me tell you what you're not going to say. It can't be Strait of Hormuz because it is anything but straight. Okay, it's got a giant bend in it. That's like, you know, it would be like the bend of Hormuz. Okay, I am so thankful for all of Trump's and not just Trump, Biden, you name it. You know, since we've been doing resistance checks, we're 10 years, dude. I am a geography aficionado,
where
I now
in the
know
world
things.
is common sense.
So I am thankful for this
show. I am
war
too.
in Iran
Now
for
we-
one reason. If I had to
If
find
you
the
had to go
silver
on
lining,
Jeopardy.
that I now know stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing.
Poke me again.
So
That was a
Ayatollah.
poke.
Ayatollah.
I told you that. I couldn't.
I'm gonna be honest. If you had asked me again, Jeopardy,
What or who is the Ayatollah?
what nation, the nation that uses, I don't know how to word it in Jeopardy speak, that whose leader is called an Ayatollah. I would not have been able to guess Iran. I wouldn't have known. I'd have had like 5 guesses. My top one probably would have been
in
wrong.
your defense, they do have a president and like a prime minister too, I think.
Yeah, but the Ayatollah is in charge. You know what I'm saying?
Ayatollah.
I know stuff now.
Ayatollah.
That I never knew before. Thanks to all of thanks to the fact that the United States needs to put its thumb in every pie in the world. And now I know all these pies.
I know where to find them. You know where to find
I'm just
the
saying,
pies.
it makes me feel smart.
You found the pies.
I don't need Jeopardy. I live Jeopardy.
Do 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 do. Who? Okay. So, there's more on the war against all the conservatives who are kind of questioning Trump a little bit. I have to say that I've watched Joe Kent, and he has been very magnanimous to Trump. He is not throwing Trump under the bus. He feels very strongly about the war in Iran, but he defers to the president a lot, and I've seen him really hold back in interviews. However, Trump did this yesterday. Who's dumber? Tucker Carlson or Joe Kent? It's very interesting. I met Joe Kent at Dover Air Force Base along with numerous other families who lost loved ones in the war. I said hello to all the families. Kent horribly lost his wife. Her casket was being brought to Dover along with the rest, although he married again quite quickly, in my opinion. In any event, a number of years later, I noticed the same person was running for Congress in Washington State and lost. I then noticed a couple years later, he was running again and lost. While I didn't know him other than our brief Dover encounter with his dead wife, and I put that in myself, but feeling sorry for him after the 2 election losses, I told my people, hire him for the White House, give him a job, make him feel good. He lost his wife in 2 elections. They did so, and while I rarely saw him, I certainly didn't expect disloyalty, and that's what I got. He was really a sleazebag, and some would say on top of it all, a leaker. I don't know whether or not that was true, but next time, no more Mr. Nice Guy. Kent is a loser. Just like Tucker and Candace and Meghan and the rest of them are losers. You're born that way, low IQ, and there's not a darn thing they're going to be able to do about it. President Donald J. Trump. This dude got something wrong upstairs, because I'm going to tell you something. When he tweeted out about Rocket Man, we all laughed. And many of the things that he has said about the Democrats have been funny. They've been funny.
Yeah.
I appreciated his tweets. I appreciated them. But he went to dark MAGA. Okay, they're not funny anymore. This isn't funny. We're not, listen, like, laugh. We all laugh. Even Maxine Waters probably laughed at tweets about her. You know what I mean? And Eric Swalwell, even in his grossness, it was like funny.
I have Maxine right here.
Oh my gosh. That's so
Doesn't that look like her?
It kind of does.
With the hair and everything?
Yeah. Including the mustache.
Yes. I guess, well, it's a beard.
And the beard.
Maybe.
Listen, there is a bridge that goes too far. When a man loses his wife in service for the nation, and from what I understand, it was during Syria or something when Trump was president. I can't remember. For you, Trump, to say, I can say that Thomas Massie might have gotten married too quickly to a very young woman. I can say that because I'm in a moral place to say that. But you, sir, left your wife for another woman. You have left all of your wives for other women. And you really did sleep with and do the nasty with Stormy Daniels. And it's gross. And you really did pay her off. And Melania Trump had really just given birth. And so you don't get to discuss with us or anybody. Joe Kent he's a moral guy. Okay. And then to say things like this, and this is the curse. This is kind of cursing stuff. This is why I'm really hoping like my Christian friends would like, this is word cursing stuff. Like this is satanic, demonic witchcraft. When you say you're born that way, you're losers, you're low IQ, and there's not a DAMN thing that you're going to be able to do about that. Now I understand everybody's like, but I didn't vote for a pastor. But did you vote for somebody who operates in word cursing witchcraft? Because Joe Kent was literally just trying to keep us from doing some crazy things with Iran. Now that we know, we did our show, Marco Rubio, JD Vance, other people were saying, this is crazy. What do you mean we're going to go in and help them overthrow their government? That we're not going to do that, Trump. And who is giving you the idea that they will rise up? It's not a thing. It's not going to be a thing. And so we know that like all the sane people around Trump, beside Pete Hegseth, were saying something. And it's just not okay. It feels not okay. It feels kind of gross. Does it feel gross to you? Let me see here. That's straight moves is open. I'm trying to get to his latest tweet. It's easy. Tucker is a low IQ person, always easy to beat and highly overrated. So are Megyn Kelly, Candace, really dumb. Let me see. Show to you. And bankrupt Alex Jones, who is completely fried. There are others also. Then we have some that are very good, true MAGA all the way, and smart. I should do a list of good, bad, and somewhere in the middle. Wouldn't that be fascinating? I'm sad because I don't want to be on the bad list. And I would be. And that makes me sad because I don't want to be on anybody's bad list. So Trump, you have to praise like all the things that you disagree with. And you have to change who you are to be on his good list. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. I don't think I'm going to play the video of him talking about Joe Kent. We've got more fish to fry. Okay, I'm going to skip the very beginning of this. I do believe that Katie Couric came out and said we're seeing and she's very angry. And she said we're seeing a rise in cancers. She thinks it could be processed food, microplastics. In the very beginning of this video here, she says an F-bomb. So I'm going to try to get past the F-bomb. But I think you guys know where I'm going to take this. I'm going to start it muted here. Let's see.
I had
okay. Oh, I'm not starting
coffee with an oncology fellow about 2 months ago, and she said, I had a very rough day. I just had to tell a 21-year-old college student with no family history that he had stage 4 colorectal cancer. And I'm hearing more and more about people in their early 40s, 30s, even 20s being diagnosed with this disease at an advanced stage, often metastatic colorectal cancer. I can't even tell you guys how crushing it is. And of course, I'm excited about trying to figure out why this is happening. You know, epidemiological studies are so hard to conduct, but there is something going on in our environment. It's not just obesity or a sedentary lifestyle. You know, it's a confluence of things that include ultra-processed food, maybe microplastic, forever chemicals, overprescription of antibiotics. I don't know what is happening.
So she swears there, and so I'm going to shut that down. 17 cancers. See, I'm trying to.
Are increasing among people under 50.
17 cancers are increasing among 50, and then she drops a big F-bomb. So I kind of wanted to mute that. Peter McCullough says turbo cancer makes the cover of Time magazine. Reporters in medical community present aggressive cancers in young people, oblivious to the oncogenic exposure of the pandemic spike protein and genetic vaccines. This is why
the mainstream media is being basically a myth, a made-up name, but it's not anymore. Now it is in the scientific peer-reviewed literature, an entire manuscript dedicated on COVID-19 vaccine-induced turbo cancer. And what this is unusually aggressive cancers that kind of just like they start with a small tumor, they get the shot, and then they have like 50 tumors, or this single tumor grows into a large mass, and then they end up dying shortly thereafter. And so these turbo cancers are usually seen in young individuals, as outlined in that study. You don't see these cancers in these young individuals, and there's so many different mechanisms biologically that the spike protein does indeed induce cancer. And I'll go through a few. One is hyperinflammation, makes the body primed for cancerous growth.
So we do know that in 2024, Professor Fukushima, Japan's most senior oncologist, condemns the mRNA vaccines as essentially murder. As a scientist and doctor, he's deeply concerned, says vaccines are causing turbo cancer and excess mortality. It's what we call turbo cancer. It's type previously unseen by doctors. I'm going to back up just a little bit here. characterized by its incredibly fast speed. By the time it's discovered, it's already stage 4 advanced cancer. Such cases are starting to sporadically appear in consultations. Thus, doctors began sharing information about these extraordinary cases that are different from before. So this gradually became the situation since last year or the year before that. Indeed, doctors have been sensing from the field that something unusual related to cancer may be happening. They were feeling it on the ground. Moreover, the results of this analysis show surprisingly that specific types of cancer in relation to the vaccination seem to be experiencing excess mortality. Firstly, cancer such as breast cancer, ovarian cancer, thyroid cancer, then statistically esophageal and lung cancer. Some underwent autopsies and found that, revealing that the vaccine literally caused the heart to disintegrate. So this is sad, and I don't want to get people too upset about it, because I know a lot of you know people who have died of a rapid cancer. Rose sent me a video this morning that I did watch, and it was highly encouraging, if you're watching now, Rose, of a woman who had stage 4 breast cancer, but this was years ago. And they did not want to give her chemotherapy because they told her her cancer had gotten too far and it wouldn't work. Well, she insisted that they give her the chemotherapy. And interestingly enough, she said that she had people around her. She had friends. She had a church family that just coalesced around her, and they prayed, and she spoke life over her and said that with man, she would speak scriptures like, with man, it's impossible. With God, nothing is impossible. And she went in for her scan, and they found that her tumors were gone.
Wow.
Now, she went through some more surgeries, and she went through some more ups and downs, and she lost her hair, and she did all the things. But they told her she was going to die, and she's alive today. And she lived. And I want to encourage you that if you ever get a diagnosis that says, you're stage 4 this, there's no way out. With man, it may be impossible. And you need to be led by the Holy Spirit, because Rose has taken her own path on, she has a diagnosis that we're going to pray over. And others, like this woman that she sent me, took the chemo path, and whatever it was, you have to you have to be sure about it. You have to be comfortable in it. You have to say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. We know that our friend Tom Renz and his wife, they did all the alternative things, and then they went a conventional route. Like she did, she's doing chemo. She was clear, and now she's got a second, it's back. And so she's doing a second round. And there's actually, she said there's a cap, a $2,000 cap that you can put on your head so that when you're getting chemo treatments, you don't lose your hair.
Oh, wow.
And she said a lot of people, they just can't afford it. And she said, we can afford it, so I get to keep my hair. And we are going to kick this in the booty. And they're doing all the different things, but they are taking that route. And sometimes when you don't know what to do and you don't feel led to do something, then you just need to follow whatever it is. And here's the thing, the professionals were telling this woman, this interview that Rose sent me, don't do the chemo, just 6 months with your family and then just die. And she's like, I'm not going to do that. And she lived, and she's in I can't remember how long it's been, but it's been a long time.
Let me read some comments.
Go ahead.
Wicked Sex says, all money-making diseases see a rise in diagnosis. Kimberly says, COVID jab. Sherry says, that's what I thought. 7 Ange says, turbo cancer is linked to the COVID jab. Sherry Dentist says, back when they were pushing out the vax, they said we'd be seeing the consequences in about 5 to 6 years. 8-Ball says, yes, the spike protein messes up the immune system and allows cancers to run amok. Kimberly Venzel says, my father-in-law died of cancer last year. It wasn't called turbo cancer, but he died quickly after the diagnosis. That's really sad. Jules says, I both know and work with those turbo cancers. And Jules says, Renz has worked with Dr. Ely.
This was a side note that was just kind of stupid to me. You know all those Haitians that came to America?
Yeah.
The House voted 224 to 204 to pass a 3-year extension on the temporary protection status for 350,000 Haitians. In Ohio, they get like housing. They get like $1,500 a month. It's insane. It's insane. And 10 House Republicans vote with 1 independent to pass it. And they should be out and tarred and feathered, in my opinion. Just totally get out the tars and the feathers. This was the tweet where Trump says on the FISA, I am willing to risk giving up my rights and my privileges as a citizen for our great military in our country, meaning he is okay with people spying on him because he wants the military and the FBI to be able to spy on people. So that's the FISA. And Lord, please don't let them pass that. We'll pray against that before we head out tonight. How are you guys doing price-wise? This was an interesting tweet. My husband and I were talking last night about how a 12-pack of Cokes is now $9. And how in 2020, I used to buy them for $4 for $10. I decided to go back to my Walmart app and see what I was paying for a random grocery order. She said in January 2020, I paid $70 for 30 items. I added all of them to the cart today and repurchased them. Today, those 30 items were $165. That's a $95 price increase in 4 years' time. Now, I guess this was in 2024. Was it 2022? 2020. We can't go on living like this. I say that it's gone even higher and that prices are out of control. And some people say you couldn't get Coke for, 4 for $10.
Well, they went on sale and you totally could.
On sale. We always buy them for family get-togethers. I want to go to Candace Owen says, can somebody please source me the news segment that caused this meltdown? This goes with the previous tweet. Looks like he may have accidentally heard the truth on a Fox News segment with the 5. The Democrat was quoting some polls that Trump is not privy to. And he says, I'm on Air Force One headed to Las Vegas, and Arizona for greetings and speeches on a no tax on tips, a windfall for our great American citizens. I am watching one of the least attractive and talented people on all of television. Why do you have to say it like that? Jessica Tarlov. Her voice is so grating and terrible. I had to turn her off. Her Democrat sound bites are fake. She makes up poll numbers and nobody challenges her because she's so boring. I have among the best poll numbers I've ever had, and why shouldn't I? All the country does is win. CNN had me at 100%, saying they've never saw that before. Get her off the air. She's bad for our country. I hear Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and Candace Owens are dying fast. Their numbers are terrible. Nobody believes them anymore. They were fake MAGA, and now they've been exposed. DJT. Here's the segment. What do you say?
Explicitly about mistakes that were made throughout the Biden years, talking about open border problems and how that wasn't addressed on time, media strategy problems, telling people, no, your wallet is fuller than you think it is, or we have a faster recovery than everyone else in the G7, so you should be thankful for that we prioritized cultural issues over economic issues, or that was people's perception of us. So I just don't see that as reality. And we could, tick through the evidence of this, that people today are worse off than they were under Joe Biden, that they feel it, that inflation report, bad, going up a percentage point over the course of the last month. The Michigan consumer
it's a temporary spike.
Maybe it is, but sure. But
let's say,
but this is the thing. We already lost for that.
Yeah, you did.
And this is what happened on CNBC this morning and why Joe Kernan was embarrassed and Andrew Ostergen jumped in to say, Pete's just giving you the facts on the ground. We lost and we learned lessons from it. And saying that this is just temporary, it's temporary because of a choice that the president made that he doesn't have the backing of the American people
to secure the people from nuclear weapons. And I would just note,
no evidence that there was
food inflation. Food inflation was
way.
flat. Medical care costs declined. Used car prices
if you want to say this is good, okay. GDP Q4 revised down 2 days ago to 0.5%. The consumer sentiment index, lowest in history. They've been tracking it since the 1960s. We're winning elections everywhere.
So to have Kayleigh McEnany there making, however $1 million, yay for her. But Trump, dude, the economy isn't better and people voted for you and the Democrats were eagerly coming out to vote for Trump. They're like, we can't take it anymore. Yes, the economy was really bad under Biden. And it was bad since COVID, and it kept getting worse. And so when you see Trump tweeting about Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and, yay, no tax on tips for a very small segment of the population, by the way. And it's only up to $25,000. When you see him, like, why am I talking about Iran? Why aren't the Epstein people arrested and all those people we know why the people connected to Epstein aren't in jail, because Epstein was running a op for Israel, and a lot of these people are compromised and they have information, and it wasn't just about sex trafficking. It was a lot more than that. And when you're asking Trump to arrest these people or maybe deport, why didn't you weigh in on the Haitian thing? Why not send them back to Haiti? People's lives are harder now.
So the question that the point that Kayleigh McEnany was trying to make is essentially your grocery prices don't matter if you're dead, because Iran has nuclear weapons and they've blown America to smithereens.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
No, that's the talking point. That's what they're all trying to convince us of. Iran has been 2 weeks away from nuclear capability for decades.
Yeah.
Okay, that's always been the talking point. 2 weeks away, they're 2 weeks away, they're 2 weeks away. Not because they were actually 2 weeks away, but because Israel has been chomping at the bit to blow them to smithereens for decades. That's like full stop. They finally got what they wanted, but I don't even think that they've really gotten what they wanted, which is why I'm very suspect that this Iran war is even over, because it had nothing to do with with the nuclear capabilities, okay? And so what are they going to do? Is it always going to be, well, they're back up to nuclear capabilities again when we need to bomb them again? Like, I don't know. But my point is, this fear over Iran having nuclear capabilities. There are several nations that have nuclear capabilities. And I understand having an Islamic State of terrorists having nuclear capabilities is problem. It's problem. Okay, I understand this. At the same time, everybody, including terrorists and suicide bombers, know the reasons why we don't launch nuclear bombs. Okay? You launch a nuclear bomb, one's coming right back at you, and then your whole civilization really is kaput, never coming back, right? And not just you, but at that point, if Iran, let's just hypothesize for 1 second. Iran launches a nuke. I don't even know that they have nuclear capabilities that reach the US. So where are they launching these nukes? I don't know. But let's just pretend, because we're doing make believe. Let's pretend they have a nuke that hits some US soil. I don't think that's even possible, but okay, let's just say they do. So they hit US soil. Let's say it's like a 9/11 type, whatever. The United States retaliation against that is not just going to be against Iran. And I don't think that any terrorist will ever be able to terrorize anything ever again after that. Like it would go nuclear, literally. So this fervor that we have to stop
that
them.
High prices are because Iran's going to nuke us. Is not.
They're not gonna nuke us.
It's not a serious argument.
This ridiculous.
It's not a serious argument.
You people are literally, and Leah hates it when I say this, but every once in a while she says it too. You're peeing on my shoe and telling me it's raining. And I'm like, no, it's not raining. That's warm and yellow and stanky. Stop it.
Okay, I have an interesting segment for you. Boys from liberal families. This is one of these follow the logic here, and you're going to end up with a pretty interesting truth. Boys from liberal families show higher anxiety than girls from conservative families. If this is a riddle,
okay,
what are you supposed to come up with? Number one, girls tend to have higher anxiety. But in the mix where boys are born and they are living in families that are liberal, they have higher anxiety than girls in liberal families.
You mean boy? Well, so what you're saying is boys from liberal families now have higher anxiety than even girls from conservative families,
Right.
meaning they didn't say from boys in conservative families. They're taking it a step further, saying girls.
Yeah.
Because obviously the assumption is that girls start at a higher anxiety.
This is a surprising reversal, even though girls generally report more anxiety. The gap just isn't biological, it's shaped by environment. Conservative families more often practice authoritative parenting, warm, deeply involved parents. I'm just going to scroll. I think I'm just let her speak here. I think that this is a very interesting observation
That's
here.
an interesting statistic that you were saying that. So conservative families have less depressed kids. Is that what you're saying?
Apparently, boys from boys from liberal families have higher anxiety rates than girls from conservative families.
But above, like, if you just looked at the norm, more girls generally
Yes.
have anxiety.
Right.
But in conservative families, girls are less anxious than boys from liberal families.
That's right. And I mean, we could speculate as to why. There are lots of proposed reasons for that. But one of the many, things that we might, first of all, we know it's in the environment at that point. It's not an organic, whatever these kids are going through, it's not organic, right?
Right.
So we know it's something we're pouring into their life. And I think one of the things might be that, aside from the fact that parents in conservative families may be more comfortable asserting their authority with kids. And that's an old finding. We've known for generations now that authoritative parenting meaning not cold parenting, not cruel, not unloving.
Rules.
But rules. Those kids have better mental health. They're happier and they're more successful in all kinds of ways. So it may be something to do with comfort with rules, but also they're less likely to turn their kids' lives over to a mental health expert.
So what is the speculation as to why rules alleviate anxiety? Is it because there's structure? There's more structure to the world, so things seem less open-ended and less chaotic? And
That's right. I think it's something to do with that. Kids need guardrails. They know they're not ready to be in charge. Parents today are so quick to put kids in charge. What do you want? Where would you like to go to school? What would you like to eat for dinner? Putting kids in charge. But we've known since the 1960s. Diana Baumrin did this research years ago, and it's some of the sturdiest research we have because they've replicated it hundreds of times, and they've shown that loving parents who are also rule bound, they call them authoritative, not authoritarian, which is the cold, unloving rule bound, but the loving and rule bound parents tend to raise the happiest kids because kids knows there are guardrails. And here's the thing: the people who are making the rules aren't some expert mom hired. They're the people who love me most.
I love this so incredibly much. And I would love to hear your thoughts on how you were raised and how you felt about life, because we all kind of want to wake up and know what we're going to do for the day. We want to know, what can we do? What can't we do? And for some people that is in religion. People like certain kinds of religions because they like a mantra. People like diets because it's like, well, if I just stick in this realm. And parents are supposed to help kids. And what you do is you're guiding them. And kids, when these rules make sense, when they are, hey, we're going to go to bed at this time. Let's read our Bible this time. Here are some chores. Actually, that builds character, and kids begin to look forward to the rules, because those rules are actually there to protect you. And it's so much like the Bible. The Bible isn't full of rules. And Jesus basically was like, listen, love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. But most people was like, tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do, And I think that when you have and I think that also parents who have these kind of rules especially in a loving way, obviously in a loving way, the kids feel loved. They're like, you don't want me to get hurt. Like my mama had a rule. She didn't have many rules at all. If you go hiking in a place that's hilly and has high cliffs, 3 feet away from the ledge. And it would get a little annoying, but I'd hear it in the back of my brain. We go hiking Red River Gorge, and I'd hear my mom. And it's like she was right there. And it was like, you almost had this kind of touch of rebellion in you. You just like wanted to go 2 feet, right? But like that 3 feet was there to say, listen, I love you. 3 feet, you fall, you're not going to go over.
I'm going to talk about some of the rules that she had. So Patriot Gallery had a very minimal rules. Most of the rules were listen to the Holy Spirit for yourself. Full stop. That was it. Obviously we weren't supposed to argue, but we did a lot.
There's no rule
for me. Well, and this applied to you too. There were most of the rules that existed for Leah and I, almost all of them, I would say, were in what we couldn't wear and what we couldn't watch or listen to. That was it. Like that was it. One time my mom had to step in and say, you can't be friends with this girl anymore because she knew something I didn't. And she said, you can't be friends with this person. But like most of the time the rules that she had for us were in what went in our eye gates and our ear gates. And then like what we couldn't wear. So I want to read some comments here from you guys. WMC Snow says discipline is the highest form of love. Jewel says likely conservative families have both a mom and a dad. Wicked Psych says rules aren't supposed to be do as I say with no questions, guidelines, common sense. Let's see. Some states did not adopt the no tax on tips, only at the federal level, says Wicked Psych. 8 Ball says Trump is using all of that blackmail info to try to get them to do what he wants. Chris says like it was 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Wicked Psych says food is not where the real expenses are. Can we all just agree to get along? Is it really that difficult? Ohio Croatian says, Leah, inflation rate and growth continue, yet it has dropped in POTUS first year prior to this war. Gasoline much lower in POTUS 1 year mark. 8 Ball thinks that they would have nuked us. 7 Inch says the real problem is that Bibi is the real threat, for he is one big nuclear demon. 8 Ball says, oh, and Jewel, you weren't here when I said it a week ago or 2 ago, but I got rid of my old apple cider vinegar. I got new. I also found at Walmart some peach cider vinegar with the mother. It tastes great. I'm putting it in my salads and in my warm drinks and coffee. And Jewel says, yay, but in your coffee? He says, along with milk, half and half, flattened teaspoon of baking soda, cinnamon powder, and pea protein powder. I'm very, very impressed, 8 Ball. Super impressed with that. Let's see. 7 Ann says children need boundaries and need to know what is expected from them. Very well said. And 8 Ball says, I love it. Very rarely like straight black coffee. 7 Ann says, I raised my sons very strict. My youngest son expected his 11-year-old to water all the new planted trees and bushes before going to school. One day she forgot and my son took her aside and gave her, and then the rest didn't get put in it cuts you off on how much you do. I would like to pose my thoughts on this, that it's not just a discipline issue. I'm going to tell you, I think even more than a discipline issue on the anxiety has to do with the fact that liberal households often live in a constant state of anxiety as a whole, and they induce fear. So when we were huge Trump supporters and we were going to a rally down in Cincinnati right after he was elected in 2016, Cincinnati was his first victory tour stop, and we headed down there. Was this that? Or was this after he won in? Now I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was that. And we were doing interviews then?
No, it wasn't after he won. It was going up to 2020.
Was it going up to 2020? Okay, well, regardless.
Yeah.
And we interviewed some protesters. And these kids had bought into the AOC lie. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but they were telling everybody going into you're right, the 2020 election, that we only had 12 years left on the planet. That our consumer lifestyle and harming the planet, they literally believed that. Now, can you fault them for that? No, because it's what they're being told and it's what they're being taught. So Leah, if you were being told we only had 12 years left of the planet and that all these things were so terrible,
yeah,
you would be living a very anxious life as well.
Yes.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that conservative families, by and large, even if they only have a small uptick of religion, Christianity being that religion, it does give you a sense of peace of that God has everything in control, and we're not going to all be nuked off the face of the planet. Right? So I just want to throw that out there. Let's see. Let me finish this one from 7 Ange. They would have given him a talking to. When he left, I apologized to her and said that it was my fault for her dad being so strict because I was too strict with him. She answered and said, my dad is not too strict. He is just teaching me responsibility. That's beautiful. I love that. That's awesome. Let me check a couple more places and then we'll move on with the rest of the show. But I do think that discipline is a big part of it. Let's see. Caroline says, raised in a conservative family and not strict, but to learn by my mistakes. And then she says they coddle their kids. Cindy says, Bibi Netanyahu has stated for 30 years Iran is building nukes and is always 2 weeks away from blowing us up. She says kids need structure at home and Bible standards. Let me go over here and check YouTube. And all right, so I think we're good on comments. But yeah, discipline is a big part of it. But I think also just having the peace of the Holy Spirit and just a kind of a peaceful atmosphere is vital.
So Adam Taggart says, I'm about 11 days into this dang head chest cold. I can't seem to shake it.
Oh, wow.
Anyone here know how long it takes to lick this thing? I'm not terrible, but man, is it lingering. Hope everyone else successfully avoids it. Have a great weekend. So this is what we had. And I've heard other people say that it went into their chest because if you don't, I'm going to give you guys some tips. So whatever it is we had, people are saying in here, it's lasted 2 weeks. It's lasted 3 weeks. 2 weeks of misery, the most cold meds I've ever taken. Someone said I had a nasty sinus infection that lasted 2 weeks. The people who have had it, they said I had the same thing about a month ago, was sick for 3 weeks.
Wow.
I think it's a new COVID-19 variant. Then like I had COVID-19 the first time, it really messed up with my mental state for a couple weeks. After 6 weeks, I'm feeling back to normal.
So I want to address that comment that they think that it's a COVID-19 variant, because when we went hiking today, I told that same thing to Leah. I said, because I'm over it, but it's still like I'm
still
past
produces the
right. It's not, and I'm tired, not in the same way that you just recovered from a cold, but in the way that I was after I had the Delta, not as bad, and weak. That's why I came on tonight's show and I was like, listen, I was legit when I was like, Leah, you sure you want to do tonight's show? But I'm come bring it 110% every time, because I will do that unless I can't because I'm coughing. But
this person says,
I really think it is a COVID variant.
3 weeks for me and I'm never sick. So other people are like, oh, no, it's nothing. Somebody said, I had the same thing 3 months ago. No way to clear it out. Short-term fixes, hot showers, deep breathing, humidifiers, spicy food. So this
why don't we
person
tell
says
them what we do?
2 full weeks. So
because we're only at like a week and a half. So we're done. So we're not at I can't remember when you've gone to the chiropractor twice now or no? Being sick?
Yeah, like I got it at this time. I believe we got it at the chiropractor on a Monday and then it started later after that.
So, but that's what I'm saying. So that Monday was so if this coming, you know what I mean? Like Monday, and then this coming Monday is where we're at.
Okay.
It hasn't been 3. So.
But I don't think I got sick on that Monday. So I don't know what day we're on.
I didn't come down with anything until like a Thursday
and
or something.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what day we're on, but I will tell you what we started right away is we take NAC, we take quercetin, and I kept thinking, oh, I'm kicking it. And then one day I like slept like all day. And then I thought for sure, I know what started with for me was just like my throat. It was like the razor blade throat thing.
I have to comment on that before you move on. So Leah, what were those things called? Because I want to make sure that everybody, I don't care what your things are on being crunchy or sugar or whatever. They were Reciprocal, I think. They are throat numbing drops. Everyone has got, just as much as I want you to have burn patches.
Reciprocal, extra strength.
Get it. It numbs. Y'all need it. You don't ever want to be caught without that ever again. And no.
I
you will all go out and order it
I
tomorrow.
walked around. It's post-nasal drip is what it is, but it's like a razor.
It's a razor.
So I had that for like almost a day and a half. And so I will let you know. We do the natural things, but when it hits,
Elderberry, I was taking elderberry
Can I-
syrup and fire cider. Yes, I just cut you off. Go on.
Okay. So one of my favorite things to get, and you have to like sign for it at Walmart or at Sam's, it's cheaper, I think, is the Mucinex. And usually like Sam's or Walmart might have a like an off-brand, but get the kind that you have to sign for. Okay, whatever it's the Mucinex D, the highest of all. Okay, and that got the stuff going so that the razor throat went away. Because I was like walking, I felt fine. I was just like my throat really, 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 really hurts. Okay,
I'm going to show you all this. I pull it up, so I want you to have a visual of it so you can know where to get it. Look at that's it right there.
Well, put it in the Mucinex then. Show them what Mucinex to get.
Look at indelibly burn that in your brain.
Okay, they got it. The kind we want the good kind of Mucinex.
Oh, Leah Michelle, I thought you guys did everything all natural. We do.
Not when it's up, but we do. This is the one.
We understand that sometimes you need something extra.
So this is the one you want if you need to get things really going. It's the highest.
No, back it up. There you go.
Okay, the 12-hour one. Now, we took regular cold medicine, the kind of Alka-Seltzer cold medicine. You can go back to the main page. And in addition to the elderberry. Now, show them the xylitol. Now, this is thanks to Dr. Sherry, the X-Clear. So I think that the X-Clear helped for me to make sure that
screen share.
Okay, I didn't get like the sinus infection that probably a lot of people were getting, and it did not go to my throat. So my favorite version is this is the regular. What I like to use is the
Max.
It's not the Max. Where is it?
You sure it's not that one?
Does that have the? No. That's just xylitol.
Oh, okay.
I like to use the one that has the essential oils in it. So it's like, well, that's super expensive. Where is it called? The Rescue or something? I think it might be called Rescue. Hopefully they didn't get rid of it because I gotta.
It says you missed it because you missed your E.
Okay, this is what we want. It's telling me I bought it. Okay, the Rescue one has oregano, eucalyptus, tea tree, and parsley oils in it. I'm telling you, it's worth every penny. $12. Okay, get this. Have it in your. Now I will tell you something. Michelle and Mom and Matt all got sick earlier this year or within the year, and I didn't get sick. And I kept using it, and like I have not been sick. Thank you God for 2 years. Can you believe that? 2 years. Now,
I used to never get sick months ago.
I know, and I didn't get sick. And when Michelle was sick, and you guys saw her here, snot, I was using that X-Clear like a mad fiend. So for 2 years, I've been washing my hands, using thieves oil, doing all this stuff. And then Dr. Sherry mentioned the X-Clear. So I'm like, I'm going to get that. So for the past year, I've been using that whenever I go out in public. And it seems like, Leah, this is kind of silly. You know, you just went roller skating. Doesn't matter. You just went out to eat. Doesn't matter. You go to the grocery store. Really, Leah? I stopped using it. I was like, there's a few days where I went out and I prayed with people and I didn't come home and use it. And
but you don't expect to need to use it in the spring and summer.
And you wouldn't expect to need to use it, period. I've got before COVID, like I can count I got sick like 2 times in my life, like 2 or 3 times. Like we're the kind of people that don't usually get sick. And, I never had colds as a kid and I never had flus. I never snotted or needed cold medicine.
So
really.
I did. I don't know where Leah was.
Okay.
I have a childhood memory of flus and colds and head colds. I want to add my number one to this, and that is nebulizing L-glutathione. with the nascent, not nascent iodine. Well, we've done that before too. The you're not in the right thing.
Okay, well, bring it up. Then I don't know how I forget where to find it.
Thera Naturals.
Yeah.
There. No, we need to type it in here. It doesn't do any good to.
I'm just bringing it up. So
Is it Terra or Thera?
Thera. I think it's Thera. I don't know. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you guys something about nebulizing. Your first line of nebulizing, if you don't have, is to get a nebulizer machine and saline packets. Nebulizing, a nebulizer and saline is really going to be very, very helpful. Okay, first line. To that, you can add a couple drops of iodine. That will really clear things out. Okay. Next is you can add some food grade peroxide. I usually use like a drop or two. Okay, to the saline. Okay, 2 to 4 milliliters of milliliters of saline, and I get them on Amazon already pre-done. They're
breakaway little things.
They're saline. Now, I'm not talking about making your own saline because like they say you can, but you got to do it with like distilled water and a certain kind of salt. And I've done it, but you got to boil it and it takes a long time. So I like to get the salines already made up. Now, this I found when my mom needed to break up
mucus
congestion, and NaC, nebulized NaC is the best, but it's super expensive and it's hard to get a prescription for it. And come in little vials. It didn't used to be that expensive. I found this glutathione is a part of NaC, or NaC is part of glutathione, I think, whatever. But anyways, this is really great because it comes already pre-mixed with a baking soda, because glutathione and NaC are an acid.
So
and you don't
just say it out loud, real big and bold at the start. I don't want people to just go buy glutathione and think
do
they can
not
nebulize
just
it.
go buy glutathione or nebulize glutathione on your own
or NaC.
What this particular product at Thera Naturals. Let me show you something.
Buffered.
It's buffered. It's got the L-glutathione and it's got baking soda. Now, I'm not telling you this, but I tried it with the NaC the other day from like some Reddit forums where I took a couple pinches of baking soda and I put that with an NaC capsule and I nebulized that with colloidal silver.
This is literally designed, and the directions are on the back for how to nebulize these capsules.
It says here it's specifically formulated for optimal absorption, and it's okay for long nasal and soft tissues. Now, you can do, they suggest you use 1 to 3 capsules in 3 ml of distilled water or pure saline solution. Okay, you can do that yourself. There's a book that I got on this, and the guy uses colloidal silver, the right kind of colloidal silver. It has to be the right kind, certain nanoparticles.
And that's what we've been doing.
And that's what we've been doing. And I highly recommend any sort of nebulizing. The right kinds of nebulizing.
So what nebulizing does is, and why I like the colloidal silver, is I'm getting 2 bangs for my buck.
Mm-hmm.
Colloidal silver is killing things that are trying to grow in my nasal passages and in my lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And the glutathione is helping to repair and help to fight off these viruses and build new cells. That's the benefit of glutathione.
Mm-hmm.
People will go and get like drips of it as a fountain of youth. Okay, because it repairs cells and rebuilds cells. And I noticed that every time I nebulize with NaC, my skin, or not NaC, the L-glutathione, I look much better. So I know this was a little bit of a health segment here, but this is something that's going around and we want you guys to be prepared for it. So you can go to our article, go to resistancechicks.com. There's 2. There's what to do before you get the bug and what to do if you get the bug. I'm telling you, go there now. Just go to resistancechicks.com and put in the word bug. Both articles will come up. The links for this Thera Naturals are on there. The links to where to get a nebulizer, where to get the saline things, and all the different things. I think even Leah has the X Clear in there. I'm not sure, but I think she does. all the and I like getting your ivermectin, where to get your ivermectin, because we're taking ivermectin because this is a COVID, we believe it to be a COVID variant. So there's a lot of different things that we're doing. But I would say this to you guys. Please do not be terrified of using store-bought cold and flu medicines. I'm so over that. Like, listen, you do what you can, but sometimes you just need to be able to get through the day. And it's not going to kill you. And I think sometimes our stubbornness of, I will never put that, in my body or whatever, to each his own. But I think sometimes we go too far and people suffer. So that's all I'm going to say. Do as you feel led by the Lord. But sometimes you just need to take some Alka-Seltzer Cold and Plus.
Yeah, so if you really want to get ivermectin quickly, you can go to Dr. Syed, my go-to doc, but it is $150 to have a doctor consult there. You can also do like Plush Health, Plush Care, or you could go to my website and look at the articles and maybe get them somewhere else.
It's Push Health.
No, there's Plush Health.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that.
Wait, one more question from Dentist Sherry.
Okay.
She says, Leah, well, she doesn't say Leah. I'm tossing this to you. What do you think about those places that do the vitamin IVs?
We did it for my mom. I think they're great. I think I think that I think they're great. I don't think there's any harm to it. We did it for my mom. And
I think it really helped her bounce back.
Really, especially if you're sick. I think that getting there's like a moon boost you can get, like it's a whole like cocktail of different ones. So yeah, I'm all for the vitamin drips.
Jules says, also, any time an infection lingers, calendula tea is a gentle lymph mover and helps support the gut. And wet sock therapy, absolute lifesaver for me. She says it's a method of warming your feet in hot water, putting cold, wet cotton socks on them, followed by dry wool socks, and going to bed.
Oh my gosh.
And Apol says, I take zinc and selenium. Both of those are good. I take them every day. Every single day.
Okay, so ticks are bad. One of the dogs we were with had a tick today. So I think I'm going to do this. How to get rid of your ticks in your yard naturally.
What?
Yeah.
You got this up already?
Yeah.
Hang on, I gotta find it because you need to go over these and close some of these down.
Sheep Live.
Okay. I don't know. There, wait, I was just there. Okay. You're freaking me out with the ticks.
I know. Everybody's been talking about them. People have been dropping a box of ticks and weird stuff.
It's super scary.
So just by using 3 things, I'm going to show you how to get rid of ticks in your yard. So I've had Lyme disease. My dogs have had Lyme disease, so I know it's prevalent in this area. And I also know that they might be thicker this year. I'm not saying that they're going to drop boxes of ticks on us, but if they happen to, we have a plan. So Ohio State University did a study on tick tubes, because if you're going to pay somebody to do it, it's going to cost you about $100 per half acre. And this is pretty much what they're going to do. So let me show you how to make a tick tube. Okay, so basically you're going to save your dryer lint, or you could use cotton balls, either work, but we save these for fire starters, so I have an abundance of them. And then you're going to soak it in something called permethrin for about 2 to 3 days. Just make sure it's completely saturated. Lay them out on a pan or a rack and let it really soak in and dry inside of there. And then you're going to just stuff it inside your tubes. And you're going to find areas around your property where you think mice might build nests, or there might be mice in the area. So what happens is the mice come up to it and they pull this out to bring to their nest to help them make their nest. And this doesn't kill the mice, but what happens is that permethrin gets all over their fur. And mice are usually a tick's first blood meal. So when they go in to feed on the mice when they're young, what's going to happen is it's instantly going to get rid of them. So then it disrupts the whole life cycle and you're going to have less ticks, because what you're doing is you're basically baiting their first meal that they're going to have, and they don't make it. And it does not hurt the mice at all. Now, the only precaution would be when it's wet, you want to keep it away from cats. So I'm doing it in my garage because our cats don't come in here, and I want to make sure they don't get it. Now, it's not as dangerous once it dries inside the tube, and it's nothing that they're going to want to go seek out. But if they get it on them when they're wet, then they're going to lick their fur, and then it can be lethal to them. So you do have to be careful when it's wet using it around cats. But that's how you make a tick tube to help keep your tick population down. And if there's a sudden, increase in them, hopefully you can get ahead of it before it even becomes a problem. So tick tube, super easy to make. And
so what was this called again? Thermethin?
Permethin.
I think it was a TH. Hang on. Wait a minute. Going back here. Wait.
As a former pesticide guy, this will work.
There it is. Permethrin. Permethrin. Okay. Permethrin.
I would still spray. Some people spray. I don't know. So I don't know. We found a tick on a dog. I don't know where she had been. Our yard. I'm hoping that we don't have many in our yard because we got chickens. We were talking about getting chickens or guinea hens. Hopefully to get those.
Yeah, we were talking to the Cantrells last night about it because I don't know if it is something that they're talking about to scare us or if it's real. But they are talking about releasing ticks into the population in mass.
Yeah.
And so that's what she was referring to, that there have been farmers that are claiming that boxes of ticks have been dropped in their fields.
Who would do that?
Well, who would do COVID?
So who would use a movie as a prayer quote? Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth quoted a fake Bible verse from Pulp Fiction, and then the Blaze had to explain that it's really close to the original Bible verse.
Okay. Well, what was it? Do you have a clip of it?
Right here. Yes.
Okay. Here, you find it.
Okay. How about, are we screen sharing?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I'll try to close out some.
This is the problem with Christianity and the Bible. And if you don't read the Bible for yourself, there are a lot of things that, like, cleanliness is next to godliness. So first of all, I totally think that that's true. And like, wash your hands, you sinners, that kind of thing. Like, so I think that there's a truth to cleanliness being next to godliness. And there is, I think it's in Proverbs somewhere where there's a verse that's very similar. But the phrase cleanliness is next to godliness is not in the Bible. And so, like, God helps those who help themselves. That's not a Bible verse. It's not in the Bible. I don't even think there's anything anywhere close to that in the Bible. And so this is the problem that we see in society today, when things spread and you think that it's in the Bible because everybody says it, but it's not.
Now here's the thing. He is quoting from a movie, and people know he's quoting from a movie in this one, but.
So the prayer is CSAR 25:17, and it reads, and pray with me, please. The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother. And you will know my call sign is Sandy 1 when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
So we had people bow their heads and pray, which I found incredibly disturbing.
So it wasn't a fake Bible verse so much as it was just a movie quote.
No, but it is a sweet.
Pete Hegseth got up and he paraphrased, and he said, I'm paraphrasing Ezekiel 25:17. You may not know this. If you watch Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino took this and wrote this into a massive monologue, built this whole monologue around Ezekiel 25:17. You know, the path to righteousness, path of a righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequalities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger to those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. That's the movie version. What Ezekiel actually says is the King James Version, and I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. So it's just a shorter version of it and not so movie-ish. All right. So what happened? Pete Hegseth says in a meeting at the Pentagon. I am badly paraphrasing Ezekiel, but the media cuts that out. And then they just spin Pete Hegseth quoting Samuel L. Jackson's fake Bible verse from Pulp Fiction during a sermon. A prayer delivered by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth appeared to paraphrase a speech from the cult classic movie Pulp Fiction rather than scripture. Viewers watching Hegseth's sermon during the Pentagon worship service on Wednesday were left scratching their heads and questioning whether he had just quoted Samuel L. Jackson's famous monologue. While discussing the Sandy 1 rescue mission, which brought back downed pilots stranded in Iran earlier this month, Hegseth urged his audience to join him in a prayer that he said was delivered at the start of the mission. Okay, that's what the media is saying. That's what's trending today. And it's everywhere. I think it's the number one trend on Google today. Where did that come from? Where did this media spin originate? Who was the one that was first pushing this out? Well, it came from a Turkish site. A site. Let me bring Ricky in on this. Ricky,
So she doesn't actually bring up the site, so I'm going to stop that there. I don't care what site it came from. Listen, what you can say is this was something that we invoked as we were praying for the downed plane.
Isn't that kind of what he did?
Yes, but you wouldn't say, please bow your heads in prayer with me and pray this word for word from Pulp Fiction.
So I want to give an example. So the other day you went ahead and read from Lord of the Rings, Samwise, this, by rights we should not even have to be here, but you were quoting the movie. You didn't ask everybody to like pray.
Bow
with
your
you.
heads and pray. The Frodo deal, like
right.
And Quentin Tarantino is a very perverse, very evil man,
and some would say pedophile.
And Pulp Fiction is not a movie that anyone should ever watch.
Yeah,
it is very bad. Okay, it's R-rated. It should be X-rated. I haven't watched it. I've just heard about it. Okay. So when you're invoking it in prayer, and then when you add, bow your heads with me. That's when, you had the mom there with the little girls bowing their heads in prayer.
And they don't even know that he's quoting some rated R movie.
Because a couple people laughed, and then they had to get serious because we're bowing our heads in prayer. And it's like, listen, Petey, that's not how we do.
No.
Okay, as Christians, you can bring in things from movies, but prayer is a very specific thing where you're talking to God. And I'm going to tell you, God is like, what are you doing? No. That's what I'm just going to say. No.
I want to know if Pete came up with that himself or, somebody else. He said it was prayed at the mission. At the start of the mission, so he's really just repeating it. But like,
I know, and that's and it would be something that you would say. We said this, and we used this, we invoked this, but we didn't actually pray it because you wouldn't.
Okay, Shauna says that it has lasted me 3 weeks with the fever. I didn't lose taste though. Praise God. I am praying that it clears up for you though, in the name of Jesus, because 3 weeks is so long. Carolyn says Vicks had gone up in price to $9. So Vicks Vapor Rub. If you get some eucalyptus essential oils, you're probably going to be as effective, if not more, with the Vicks.
Especially if you mix it with the coconut oil so it can spread.
Vicks Vapor Rub. I think they actually use eucalyptus, but eucalyptus essential oil itself does stop or lessen the production of mucus.
Yeah, it was
Liz says ticks are so bad. I had 3 permethrin. So hang on, because she's a farmer. So you're
what do you
already
mean
privy to this.
You had 3 permethrin.
Are you taking this stuff internally?
Explain,
Liz.
Explain. Okay, so somebody did this. This is going to be somebody did this.
Condition.
So you guys remember, Trump says he heals people now. It's
He's
not
a doctor.
Jesus. not Jesus. He says, I thought it was a doctor that was healing people, and I do heal people.
Are you suffering from a serious life-threatening illness? Has your doctor told you you're probably going to die? My name is Dr. Donald Trump, and I have helped millions of patients with conditions just like yours. Cancer, heart disease, ALS, you name it. Conditions your doctor said were untreatable. I've seen them all, and I fixed them all. I use an advanced technique that the cheating medical establishment don't want you to know about. The results are, frankly, incredible. Nobody gets results like this. They're the greatest results.
They gave me 6 weeks to live, but then I called the hotline and was healed entirely through the phone.
I was clinically brain dead, and my wife was about to pull the plug when the doctor saved my life.
If you or someone you love is suffering, don't wait. Don't let the corrupt medical establishment tell you what's possible. Call 1-900-NOT-JESUS today. Let's make your health great again. Are you suffering from a serious...
I don't do AI, but that is so funny.
Leah.
And he's like, I thought that I was just healing people, and this glowing light coming out of his hands, right? It's Jesus, man. He's got the white robe with the red
If you did
sash.
not laugh at that, I don't even know. She says, oh, no, I had 3 ticks on me, says
Okay.
Liz. Oh, that's so
Oh,
yucky.
oh, maybe you need 3. Oh, yuck.
Okay, that was definitely funny. Dale says you can use your portable steam bath with Vicks or essential oils to treat your symptoms.
So this is the old Donald Trump.
Thank you, Dale.
I don't think I should even be playing this because it's just it's embarrassment by
proxy.
So back in the day when Trump was doing Miss Universe or Miss USA, the winner gained a bunch of weight, and he made her lose it, and did this TV segment. Okay, Alicia Machado, just this.
Some people, when they have pressure, eat too much, like me, but like Alicia. And what she's going to do now is she's got one of the great trainers of the world and a very, very famous man in his own right.
Our goal is to get her between 125 and 130. She will look 118 to you and to the camera, 118. So we want to keep that soft, feminine look. We don't want to have these short, bulgy muscles.
The weight was unacceptable to a lot of people. Now, all of a sudden, she's gained. I mean, literally, she went up from about 118 to about 170 pounds. It was incredible. And we had a choice, termination or let's get her back into shape. She gained 50 or 60 pounds in a period of 9 months, which is unbelievable. I've never heard of such a thing. And now she's on a very strict diet and she's working very hard. She's with a trainer, a terrific trainer, and hopefully it's all going to work out. But she's obviously got a major eating disorder. She likes food.
You called her an eating machine.
Well, at one point she was actually an eating machine. I mean, she was. Somebody said, gee, that's not a very nice thing to say, but it's true. Some people, when they have pressure, eat too much.
That to me, I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but
I would love to hear from her now.
She did say that led to years of anorexia and bulimia and eating disorders, and it was very traumatizing for her. Yeah, it was. There's a story about this that came to light. Donald Trump, then owner of the Miss Universe pageant, mocked her weight and Venezuelan roots, calling her Miss Piggy and Miss Housekeeping. He later described her as disgusting, and spread false claims and even accused Hillary Clinton of helping her gain U.S. citizenship. Machado has spoken openly about the abuse, calling out the racism, misogyny, and cruelty she endured. Her story remains a vivid example of how women in the public eye, So weight shaming became a public spectacle in 1997 when Trump put Machado on a regimen and fitness program at Mar-a-Lago. 5'9" beauty queen had gone from 118 pounds at the time she won Miss Universe to 170 pounds after easing up on strict diet, pills, and exercise. At a poolside press event, Trump said, "There are a lot of people out there who have similar problems, including some of us. For people who have a weight problem, she serves as a tremendous example." Machado, 20 at the time, pushed back publicly, "I am no cow," or something like that. She said at 158 pounds during the Mar-a-Lago program. Despite the pushback, the pageant went ahead with the intense plan, which included a $1,200 calorie 29 gram fat a day diet, laps in Trump's Mediterranean tile pool at 8 a.m., a mix of yoga, Tai Chi, it sounds really great, shiatsu massage, and 5 hours of daily movement. The goal was to shed 20 pounds in 3 months, and Machado insisted her effort could inspire women with eating disorders to pursue health. Yet her larger proportions sparked an international debate about beauty, perfection, and the pageant culture. Nearly 3 decades later, during a press gaggle on Air Force One, Trump said to somebody, "Quiet, Miss Quiet Piggy." The nickname drew immediate comparisons to the way he mocked Machado in 1996. At the time, Trump did not deny calling Machado Miss Piggy, claiming she had gained a mass amount of weight and that he had saved her from getting fired because of it. Machado's story resurfaced in 2016 during the presidential election, and she said that he was cruel and abusive. Yet in a twist of few expected, Machado has recently expressed support for Trump, this time in a different arena. In 2025, she publicly endorsed the president's military operation in Venezuela. During an interview, she said, "Hopefully we can achieve this. We're trusting him, President Trump." Now, a weight gain from 118 to 170 in a matter of months is intense.
So it just begs the question, like, what was she doing to stay artificially small?
The diet pills and the starvation and that and something just broke in her mind at some point. And the comments under there were quite harsh. He did her a favor. He helped her. He did. Now, I think that you can quietly pull somebody aside and be like, "Hey, let me help you. Like, let me help you." And
but
I
Donald
don't
Trump's
need
always
to,
about making it a publicity stunt.
but I don't need to call you Miss Piggy. I don't need to call you an eating machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, obviously she's an eating machine. She can't stop eating. She has an eating disorder. And this is a play with narcissists because they don't have feelings.
Yeah.
Like that. Like we do. We don't, like, they don't have. That's why Trump, like with Joe Kent, and he's just like lost it. And he's like, you're a traitor. You're a loser. You've always been a loser. Guys, like, that is.
Trump has a history of shaming people.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you can say, well, yeah, but you knew that when you elected him or when you supported him. And you know what? To a degree.
Yeah.
That's true.
We've learned more. Like, I only knew him from The Apprentice. And I knew him as hard, but fair and funny. And then we saw clips of him with Ivanka saying, "I should date you," and all these different weird things. And Michelle and I did this righteous rant, why Christians can't vote for Trump. And then things change. And I was listening to you guys, and I was listening to a lot of people, and I saw him say, "Well, I'll take you'd be in jail." And he was like, "I want I want school choice," which what happened to that?
He even when he was asked about women and abortion, he even took in one interview.
Clip, he felt like it should be illegal.
Prosecuted.
It should be illegal. I mean, it's murder, isn't it? And then for his first term, he's like, "I want to be the most pro-life president in history," right? And then something weird happened, and I feel like the devil entered into him, and he started attacking pro-lifers and doing weird things. And then we spent the next, we spent 2020 to 2024 defending this guy, and then couldn't vote for him. And now we're just kind of like in a flux watching our friends, our dear, dear, dear Trump friends. I had the Trump hats, I had the MAGA, I had the bling bling, I had all the things. And it's idol worship. It's idol worship. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. So we're going to end
do any commercial breaks.
We're going to end on a happy note. I took my earbuds out, but here we have, I think this has gone around a couple times. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but this is a happy story. I just saw it for the first time this week.
Captured the moment after a call came in that a 2-year-old girl may have been abused, allegedly by her mother and her mother's boyfriend, who were both taken into custody.
She's got left, right, center, and a pretty good black eye.
Back at the police station in Kingman, Arizona, as they waited for child services to show up, Officer Zach and Kyla watched the Disney movie Wreck-It Ralph.
And your adorable
I'm adorable. Right there, a remarkable bond developed. When his shift was over, Officer Zach went home. But he says he couldn't stop thinking about the precious child. Then a remarkable thing happened.
The DCS worker asked the question that changed our life, and it was, would you consider being placement for her? I met her Saturday night, and Wednesday night, she was dropped off at our house. Where are you going? You're going to go to work?
2 years later, Kyla has now been formally adopted by the Zacks.
The court signs the order of adoption. Congratulations.
This weight was lifted because I knew that I didn't have to worry about who was going to be taking care of her, who was going to be loving her.
I love him. Oh, stop it. That is like super happy story. Way better than the gay guy thing.
I know.
Oh,
I know, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for those kind of good stories. Feel free to send them to me because my feed has not been full of happy things.
I actually have, and I don't have time to pull them up because we've gone late on the show tonight, but maybe I'll do some on Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, we're going to be here earlier than normal. We have to cut out here
10:30 or 11
by like 12:45. So, it'll be a shorter show and it'll be an earlier show. So if you would like to tune in live, do not skip church to tune in live. Don't do it. God will know and we will know and everyone will know. And it could be bad.
I guess
for
we're
you.
going to do Cuba next, Trump said.
Cuba? Oh, so you know what this is like? You get addicted to these kind of things, right?
Very soon, this great strength will also bring.
Leah, I could play it here. They can't hear it.
Okay. I just wanted, I don't know. Cuba's trending. So it's like.
Did he already said he was going to do
No,
Cuba?
I know, but he just said it tonight. He's at a Turning Point event with Miss
Did you repost
Erica.
it?
I did.
Okay. You know what I wanted to tell everybody about?
What?
So Erica bows out of this TPUSA event with JD Vance, right?
But now.
Based on security issues. Yeah. But have you seen pictures of the event?
Nobody was there.
The ticket sales it was a giant, 10,000 person stadium or whatever, and maybe 300 people showed up. And now everybody's questioning, did she bow out because of security issues? And if so, how come the vice president went?
I know.
Or did she bow out because of dismal ticket sales?
Threats on her life that they magically got fixed for this next event.
And very soon, this great strength will also bring about a day, 70 years in waiting. It's called A New Dawn for Cuba. We're going to help them out with Cuba. We have a lot of great Cuban Americans. Not too many people in this audience, I don't think, but you go to Miami, we have people, Cuban Americans, people that were brutally treated, whose families were killed and brutalized. And now, watch what happens. Under this. And very soon.
Nobody is contesting the fact that Cuba is a communist Bay of Pigs. All right. They need help. They need whatever. But are we the people that are supposed to do it? And what is going to be the talking point when we're not supposed to be interventionist? No new wars, but yet every Trump person that's still Trumpy finds a reason to support every interventionist action that he's doing. Do you think for yourself? Are you? Here's the deal. At that point, I have to ask the question: do you no longer identify as a non-interventionist? Because you have to. You have to. Because Trump is essentially saying we want to intervene everywhere. In every country that we feel like something's going wrong. That makes you an interventionist. When one of the reasons that we elected him was because Trump was claimed that he was not interventionist, so I don't know. I don't mean that Cubans are pigs, by the way. I was just making a comparison to the Bay of Pigs. Then the country does need help. Okay, obviously Cubans are amazing people, and there are a ton of Cuban Americans, and they have an interest in getting Cuba free from communism. but we can't just go liberate everybody. Like, okay, actually, technically we can. Should we? Ought we? And that's the question that I would ask you guys. Like, is this something that you believe is an agenda that we need to take up? A-Ball says, I never did identify as a non-interventionist. Okay, that's fine. That's good. At least you're sticking within, your belief system. But most of the mega people that I know wanted Trump to be a non-interventionist.
Well, that's what he ran on.
Right.
So one last thing, and I know it's not it. So Erica is making waves in the song that she came out to tonight at this event. I retweeted it.
Right. Yeah. And Wicked's like, 8Ball's right. We are going to do an early show on Sunday because we have a birthday party to go to, which is our little cousin. He's turning 19.
I do have I have a beef with Turning Point, and
so where you want me to go?
I want you to I just retweeted it.
Okay.
Nicki Minaj song.
No.
She comes out to Nicki Minaj called Super Bass. And I'm going to read to you the lyrics of that song. So, just to be clear, if you ever have me speak anywhere, please just read the lyrics. Please just make sure the lyrics are not, he ill, he real, he might got a deal. He pops bottles and he got the right kind of build. He cold, he dope. He might sell coke. He always in the air, but he never flies coach. He's a that. And he make it drip and and then okay, so I understand that making Nicki Minaj is like a Trump person now, but the Christians, we got like Erica, like you're supposed to be this like what happened to Christianity?
It's gone now.
What happened to being a Christian? Like, I just need to know, like, what happened to, like, we don't come out to, might sell coke and he's dope and he's and he just, like, what? Like, we don't do that stuff. Like, why don't we do it? And one last thing. This is why we don't do it. You know why we don't do it? This is why we don't do it. This is why we don't do it. Parents, this is why we don't do this. Okay. Public service announcement. Last thing. Starting to be
Hey kiddo, it's about time for bed, okay?
Okay.
Well, remember, there's a box in the corner over there with all the pornographic material that's ever been made in the world, even the really weird stuff that could scar you for life. I'm trusting you not to look in there, okay?
Okay.
Feelings are for losers. Oh, and this guy's gonna be in your corner all night just randomly spewing out hateful things. Just ignore him, okay? While I'm thinking of it, there's an order form on your desk where you can purchase illegal drugs. The mean girls from your school are going to be standing there talking about you all night. And this Russian hacker's going to keep asking for your password.
I'm not hacker. Amazon customer service.
Just need you to ignore him, okay?
Love you, buddy. We ask too much of our kids when we give them a smartphone. Let's change the norm. Together.
Maybe we go around the room and share social security numbers.
You know, I think that is
really
so
good.
true. Like, you're going to tell your kid, this right here is all the pornographic material, including the really weird stuff that's going to scar you for life. Don't look at it. Don't go in. Like, it's right there. But don't look at it. Don't touch it. Don't, and when we purposefully, like, Turning Point is supposed to be a turning point. We're turning back to Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many really great Christian songs there are?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Not just Christian songs, but patriots, right? So we've got Bryson Gray, we've got Tyson James. There are these artists out there who have made a name for themselves and put their life on the line to, rap for Trump and to be patriotic and to stand against, marriage between, the same gender and like, protecting kids and gender reassignment and all that. Like, so they have done all the things.
Yeah.
And Nicki Minaj just so happens to show up at the end and be like, now I'm here.
I'm going to keep singing my songs and everything in them, and they're so trashy, and I'm going to be trashy, but I'm a trashy for Trump. And it's like, oh my gosh, no, you're just like, Ted Nugent and Kid Rock. It's like, guys, the idea is Jesus hung out with sinners. Mary Magdalene had 7 demons cast out of her.
Mm-hmm.
She took oil that was super expensive and poured it all over Jesus's feet and wiped it with his hair. Her hair. And she's like, I want to be holy. I want to be righteous. When a Christian gets around somebody, they're like, their mouth all of a sudden cleans up.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be better. They want to be like, wow, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to be like that anymore. Like, it's not about rules. We just talked about rules as a Christian, right? They're not to bang you over the head. They're guardrails for life to keep you on the straight and narrow.
Paul Cantrell sometimes sends us stuff from their devotional readings that they get. I'm just going to read this so we can cleanse our minds. And he titles it, Never Feel Inadequate. He didn't write this. It's from their devotional, but he copied it and put it in here. Obey my commands. They are rungs in the ladder that lead to success. Above all else, keep calm and unmoved. Go back into silence to recover this calm when it is lost for even a single moment. You accomplish more by this than by all the busyness of a long day. At all costs, keep calm. You cannot help anyone when you are agitated. The Lord does not see as man sees. 1 Samuel 16:7. Never feel that you are inadequate to carry out any task. All work on earth is accomplished by my Spirit, which can flow through the most humble and gentle person. All the Holy Spirit needs is an unblocked channel. Rid yourself of self, and all is well. Pray about everything, but concentrate on a few things until those are accomplished. I am watching over you. I will provide you with the strength necessary to meet your daily and even hourly tasks. If that strength is unclaimed and you fail because you don't have it, the fault and the sin are yours. And Paul says, such a good word that I needed today. I thought that I would read that just in case there's some of you out there that feel like you are inadequate, that God is asking too much and you just can't carry the whole load. God is not asking you to carry anything. All he's asking you to do is to surrender to him so that he can carry your load for you. And it is very chaotic, and there's a lot of burdens, and there's a lot of attacks right now. And I just want to encourage you guys to keep rebuking the devil, to keep casting down every imagination that would exalt itself above Christ.
Amen. So I have a really good show on Sunday. We're going to talk about a divide between how men and women see each other, the younger generations. If you saw my Facebook post, it'll be a very interesting, lively discussion. So come expecting, but I want to leave you with this. 42% of men aged 18 to 29 are now saying religion is very important in their lives, compared to just 28% in 22 to 23.
Wow.
That's a 50% jump in 3 years. Now, young women are still lost, and we're going to talk about that and why that is. And we're going to pray, and we're going to end quickly in prayer, because I know you guys, it's late and I don't want to keep you up anymore. God, we just lift up all these things tonight. Iran, the prices, our kids on phones that are accessing crazy things.
Ticks,
Cuba.
Cancers.
Yeah, everybody who's sick and the sicknesses. And we just ask you, Father God, to fill us with your joy, fill us with your peace, take care of our nation, lead us and guide us. It's his 250th anniversary. We ask, Father God, that even Trump would get on his knees, that the world would get on its knees and say, God did something 250 years ago. And that's what we should be focusing on. God did something. God did something so wonderful and so magnificent by people who got their lives right with you the best that they could. And they put their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor on the line. And many of them lost it, as we were talking today with my friend Matt. James Madison lost everything. Thomas Jefferson ended up losing everything. His estate did. And there's a world out there that is vying to take over. But the spirit of America is about servanthood.
Amen.
And serving and loving and building good, godly families. So, Father God, we ask you that as we go to sleep tonight, that you would speak to us, that you would give us renewed vision, hope, because hope does not make ashamed. If we've been wrong about things, we ask you to make it right. We ask you, Father God, that you would straighten out America's politics, cleanse it out, cleanse our minds, make us holy, make us righteous. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. All right, you guys, we will see you guys on Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time-ish, or between 10:30 and 11. The only thing that I have to advertise for, Leah, could you go over and grab that box? So I just made a fresh batch of Armor of God face and beard oil. And I have to tell you guys, this is one of my favorite products. I know that I made a post about it, but like I use this every single day. So I have them. They're all right here in this box. And I love this product. It is not only
smells amazing,
great for men and your beard and your face, and I did use it on Uncle Jack's face after after I gave him his fresh once a year shave. But it has the top 10 essential oils in our Armor of God men's roller ball that is designed to help boost testosterone, balance hormones, and I'm going to tell you, every time people
I also like
smell
to put
this
it in my hair
in person, it's like they're like, oh wow. Right? Like we get that reaction.
That's
like,
the big
oh, wow.
thing. Oh, wow.
So it's the smell is just a bonus, but it's a giant bonus.
Yes, it is.
So before I did the show, I told you guys I
wow.
wanted to cancel the show. So what did I do? I went upstairs. I put my Armor of God on my face like this, and I just put it on. I just kind of like breathed it in. Chris says the Armor of God is amazing. So we've got the pump and the dropper, your preference, available on Resistance Chicks shop. shop.resistancechicks.com. So I wanted to let you guys know I am actively making products. We're a little bit low on some things. As a matter of fact, we are completely sold out of, but it's okay. You can still buy it. The Homestead Hands lard version. I'm making a batch as we speak. I've got half of it in, I'm making 2 batches actually. I've got half of it in the crock pot. I've got to finish it. I do it in sections. So we've got a couple of craft shows coming up that I want to make sure that we're ready for this summer. But this is, I just love this product so much. Like I didn't know how much I was going to love it when I made it. So I wanted to remind you guys of that. So we just made that, and that was what was coming out of the shop this week. So there you have it. All right. We love you guys. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it's not just a conspiracy theory if it's actually the truth. And we will see you next time right here from resistancechicks.com. Take care. God bless.